go. And then where's my notes? Open. Should be exact sum based on time. Sort by date. Wow, it doesn't have sort by date on here. Sort by date modified, so why not date? The fuck? View, sort by date. Thank you. History. Itchy.
It is a
Generation 3. Hoenn.
I'm a kid of the
I'm a kid of the 90s. I'm a kid of the 90s. I'm a kid of the 90s. Okay, here we go. Now we wait for horror.
'90s, so I grew up with. It is because of that. Gen 2 does not even come close to eclipsing its criticism. The someone's team because you just. I think that does narration, but it is a big one, and it's telling that this was not something they would ever repeat. I'm a kid of the 90s, so I grew up with the very first Pokemon games, but Generation 3 and Hoenn remains to this day my all-time favorite gen. It introduced many of my favorite characters, it has the best written story, it has some of the most beautiful locales of any region, especially as this was before the DS brought in the washed-out pastels and jaggy 3D models of Gen 4 and 5. And it introduced many Pokemon that remain among my favorites to this very day. Generation 3 is something of a controversial gen. Some people adore it, some people hate it, and others correctly identify it as the starting point for many things about Pokemon that have annoyed people in later years. But let's dive in, shall we? This one opens with a more elongated opening sequence where you get out of the truck, fix your clock, and talk to the misogynistic neighbor boy before being able to choose your Pokemon. This shit's getting longer every game, I fucking swear. And this
Misogynistic gamer boy, but I'm pretty sure you can be male or female. Also, who are these people who say these things about Pokemon?
first Pokemon games, but Generation 3 and Hoenn remains to this day my all-time favorite gen. It introduced many of my favorite characters, it has the best written story, it has some of the most beautiful...
You said characters, but the only thing on the screen are Pokemon. Okay. This is gonna get annoying really fast.
Favorite gen. It introduced many of my favorite characters, it has the best written story, it has some of the most beautiful... locales of any region, especially as this was before the DS brought in the washed out pastels and jaggy 3D models of Gen 4 and 5. And it introduced many
Better than Gen 4 and 5.
Pokemon that remain among my favorites to this very day.
That's the same thing you said twice. You said my favorite characters and my favorite Pokemon. Because you showed Pokemon on the screen when you said favorite characters.
Generation 3 is something of a controversial gen. Some people adore it, some people hate it, and others correctly identify it as the starting point for many things.
Third gen. It's controversial. Some hate it. Some correctly see it as the start of the worst trends. Okay. Let's hope we have an argument back that up.
About Pokemon that have annoyed people in later years. But let's dive in, shall we? This one opens with a more elongated opening sequence where you get out of the truck, fix your clock, and talk to the misogynistic neighbor boy before being able to choose your Pokemon. This shit's getting longer every game, I fucking swear. And this little bitch is really condescending. I'm actually surprised by just how casually sexist he is. What, are you streaming a debate over there, Brendan? Wait, his name is Brendan? Finally, I get to compete against my wife's boyfriend. Man, he'll be pissed to find out they let Christy Golden write his dialogue. Oh wait, that's what he was doing, his Sylvanas live stream. I'll be honest, I actually like Brendan more than Silver. I think Brendan is one of my favorite rivals because while he is casually sexist, he's not trying super hard to be your friend or trying super hard to slag you off. Sure, his sexism does irritate me, but in a good way, where it's all the more fun to beat his Pokemon into the dirt, and he gets salty when he loses later on, which is just great. And it's probably Birch's fault he's like this anyway. I eventually found Professor Birch being savaged by a raccoon, and understandable, those things have rabies, you need to kill him on sight. So to do that, I chose Trico, because it's correct. And then Birch says that I pulled it off with aplomb.
Suicune is the correct start.
Aplomb? Well, that's just charming dialogue. Anyway, he tells me I should go meet my Metamor, and I already have. He's a much nicer guy than Nintendo seems to think he is. Seriously, Poet, you don't deserve the shit you're getting from me. So he challenges me to a fight, and it's no contest because I went and bought 5 potions before the fight because honor means nothing to a corpse. And so Birch gave me a Pokedex and tells me to go fill it, and so far, so stand. Come on, Trico, we're going on an adventure. As soon as I catch myself a baby, if you thought I wasn't going to, you don't know me very well. I named her G. Okay, so one problem with the Gen 3 games is that the routes are either really, really long or really, really short. The next town is always either 5 steps over or way off in Russia. The older games had this problem too, but it's a while until you reach the properly long routes. 3 badges in, actually. The other games had Mount Moon, Union Cave, Viridian, and Ilex Forest all before your 3rd badge. The most Gen 3 has is a bridge. It's a nice bridge, I'll give you that. Anyway, I get to Petalburg and talk to my
Map's too short. Alrighty.
Dad. Hey, Dad, been a while. As you can see, I changed my entire gender. He gives me this small, sickly boy named Wally and asked me to teach him how to catch Pokemon. I think this might be the most elegant implementation of the catching tutorial. Now you're the more experienced trainer helping the kid. That's very wholesome. I love Wally. Also, he catches a Ralts. The boy has good taste. That is the friend Pokemon. So I took G out for some training, and some world-class intellect decided that Ralts doesn't learn confusion until level 6, so I have to switch train the way there. It's alright, I have a Gecko. Also, those rich kids can fuck off. It's here we meet our first Team Aqua Grunt, who's trying to mug a businessman. And let me tell you, I was conflicted here. I mean, he's a capitalist. I have to let him suffer. But I can't progress until I help him. I see what you're about, Nintendo. So
the cringe capitalism jokes are getting fucking worse. There's nothing to do with the fucking game.
the first thing to do in Rustboro is actually run right past Rustboro to the Rusturf Tunnel, where another Aqua Grunt has mugged an old man and fled into an incomplete tunnel. That was a very bad mistake, and I'm about to carve the lesson into his flesh. Except I'm not, because I fucked up the sequence and he wasn't here. So I had to go back and do everything else first. Let's just cut this part out. So Roxanne is a rock-type gym leader. Is there something about
That's not funny.
makes it an ideal first gym? Fucking 3 games use it. Anyway, the thing is that rock is weak to grass, so... Oh, fuck, I just remembered. Roxanne's a school teacher. This joke was in terrible taste.
Hey, Lance, it's off. It's off. It's off. It's off. Throw this phone away, Lois.
So anyway, that guy from earlier got robbed again and wants me to get his stuff back. You want another bailout? What am I, the federal government? Anyway, I find Mr. Brady there, who also lost his Wingull. Finally, a cause I can get behind. So I crush the Aqua Grunt and move on. I take a visit to Devon Corp and he gives me a free smartphone, but as soon as I leave, a scientist stops me and insists on installing the phone feature because he didn't before. How the fuck do you still have a job? And forces me to call the Devon Corp president. You don't need to do this, Game Freak. I'm glad you've got it. Stop forcing it on me. Actually, this time around, the phone is awful. Before, you could just refuse everyone's number and not be pestered by their inane calls. This time around, everyone is forcibly added to match call, and they bother you all the fucking time. Oh, this is fucking cancerous. Why would you do this? Game Freak can...
Complaining about content and characterization.
Can never have a normal good idea. They have to pile it under layers of bullshit.
Having jump off points for content is having a bad idea under layers of bullshit and not having good ideas. Whine, complain, whine, not a single serious criticism yet.
So the president of Devon Corp has decided that deputizing a small child is better than paying a $5 shipping fee and wants me to deliver a letter to Duffertown and a package to Slateport. I did not sign up to work in the Amazon Fulfillment Center. Slateport, more like Slaveport. Got him! So because he owes me for saving his bird/possible lover, Mr. Briney gives me a ride. Because I'm a sensible person and also G is underleveled, I go through the cave to find Steven Stone first, and you'll be surprised to know what Mr. Stone's specialty is. That's right, it's Steel-type Pokemon. Anyway, I gave Steven his letter. He gives me his favorite TM, which is one that only one of his Pokemon can use, and it's not even his ace. Good job, Steven. And he leaves me there in a hole. Dick. So I crawled out and head to Duford Gym to fight Brawley, the footage of which is lost thanks to OBS's patented "you left the pause button on after coming back from getting a sandwich, go fuck yourself, I'm not going to highlight that at all and leave you looking like a liar" technology. But just...
You mean you failed to do your job as a recorder and as a content creator? And you fucked it up? That's not funny. Also, why is that still in post? Just re-record it.
Rest assured that it was a suitably amazing fight that I definitely didn't lose to 4 times. Don't type that fucking comment. So I arrive in Slateport City and fight my way through the beach full of tourists, demanding I have a Pokemon battle with them and insisting I give them my number. I arrive at the Marine office only to be told that Captain Stern went to the museum. So I go to the museum and find that Aqua's milling about. Oh, well, that's definitely not a good sign. So when I go to give Captain Stern the Sea Pearl, I mean the Devon part, sorry, I thought it was in a more chaotic story for a second, Aqua shows up and tries to convince me to go party with them. Sir, I am not that kind of girl. So I crush them and Archie shows up and calls his own men simps for losing to a child. Sir, that's a combination of words I don't much care for.
Cram.
Archie thinks I'm part of Team Magma, which I found quite insulting, honestly. Do I look like I hang out in a volcano to you? On second thought, don't answer that. He says I will rue the day I stood in the way of his plans, and then just gives up and leaves. What a good sport. I find the Aqua Grunt I beat up in the forest in Rusturf Tunnel, and he's apparently so traumatized he gives me a free TM and begs me not to hurt him. Did I just mug that guy? I run into Birch on the next route, who asks where Brendan is. Well, in my experience, he's either with my wife or writing Supercorp fanfiction. Love you, poet. Please don't fuck with me. I will cry. Actually, I found him further along the route, so apparently Birch wasn't even looking very hard. Anyway, I crushed him. Okay, he crushed me. But I crushed him the second time, and G evolved into a slightly bigger child. So I spent some time training my Pokemon in the road between Mauville and Verdanturf, because between all the trainers, there's like 30 Pokemon with trainer XP, and you're a fool if you don't soak it up like the gluttonous hog you are. But after that, the only thing to do is snag the bike and rush.
But as you can see from the list, it's not. It's just been yap, and then complain with no serious criticisms in between. And also, I didn't miss that. Apparently, she's in a throuple. I didn't need to know that information.
Right for the gym. In the remake, they made Mauville a real crossroads town that you keep coming back
to
for story reasons.
Are we surprised they're in a throuple?
Since it's part of the general padding the game with dialogue that goes into most of these remakes. Actually, fuck, I forgot Wally's here and he wants to battle with just a level 16 Rolls. Aw. Poor kid. After crushing the dreams of my apprentice and putting him on an arc to train and grow stronger and meet me at Victory Road and get crushed again, I continue on to the gym. Kinda, I'm telling this story out of order. Watson's gym has this obnoxious button puzzle that is determined to make you think you can get around the gym trainers, but you can't, and it makes you die a little inside. But once you actually get to Watson, it turns out he's a very gentle and supportive pile driver right into the pavement. I got by just stacking Calm Mind on G, at least until he got in that cheeky sonic boom, little stinker. Second time around, I tried to do the Calm Mind trick again, but somebody decided to blow up. Fine, I'll go level grind some more, you bastard. Third time's the charm, and this time I actually managed to get a few Calm Minds off, and she survived the self-destruct on 1 HP like a fucking mad lass. Gee, I'm sorry I ever doubted you.
Refuses to level and grind to an appropriate state to deal with the lack of content. Another case example of favorites slowing down the team.
Now don't fuck this up for me. And you know what happened? She didn't. She bodied all of them. Mantrick was a little bitch with the super potions, but I was equally scummy, so I guess I can't complain. I mean, I'm gonna complain anyway, but still. So on the road to Falarber Town, one of the longest and most interesting routes in the game, I decided to take on the Winstraight family because the reward they give you is a Macho Brace, an item that doubles the EV points you get. Normally this is a good thing because it means you can spend less time making your Pokemon stronger, but in normal story mode play, you can't control what you fight, and so that just means my Pokemon are becoming terrible faster. Hope you like those attack EVs, G. So the route to Falarber takes you up a mountain, through a fiery cave, and out another long path that leads up to a rest house, and then through an ash field before finally reaching Falarber Town. What the fuck? That's like 4 environment changes on one route. That's not even counting the desert, which is completely optional and unlocked later as a shortcut back to Mauville, if you don't feel like going through the rest of Meteor Falls. Remember what I said earlier about how some of the routes in this game are really long and really interesting? There's another one later after we get Badge 5, but this is some really cool environment design here. Almost makes sense that the cable car and desert aren't accessible, because otherwise you'd miss out on this really good route and tons of experience.
Selective hatred and glazing of long routes with trainers and puzzles where before it was nothing but negatives. I put down clear favoritism, but the claim would be that they already like it as their favorite. So of course they prefer this one inside this generation. It's the one with less bad problems.
The Ashlands themselves are probably the most unique area in the entire franchise, and you can pick up little puffs of dirt to make flutes with. Well, this is delightful. Once we make it through the Ashlands and get to Falarber Town, the first thing to do is run immediately past Falarber Town and over to Meteor Falls. On the way there, G evolved into Gardevoir, and now I have a walking nuke for a best friend. Nothing can hurt me now, except the dark. One thing of note is that Gardevoir's sprite is pretty androgynous in Gen 3. It's funny how later gens would actually try to make them look a lot more feminine, you know, round out their horn, give them a masculine counterpart evolution. Man, all those memes really fucked Game Freak up, didn't it? Apparently in Meteor Falls, Magma and Aqua get into a fight about a meteor that they're trying to steal from some scientist. Magma cheeses it. Archie apologizes for assuming I was part of Team Magma. Great, now apologize for your men hitting on me. I am only 10. I then have to chase Team Magma back to Mount Chimney because they're trying to make a volcano erupt to expand the land.
Lily,
and kill everyone
not everybody
in its
is into
wake.
you.
Did you not
Stop
think-
it?
You missed a couple of zingers about how apparently... Oh, also, you missed it. Apparently she's in a throuple.
Yeah, I know that.
I didn't.
I've seen this before, remember?
Let's see here. Where did I start? We started from 9. So, several things already wrong. The most obvious is that 3rd gen is their favorite because best Pokemon, favorite Pokemon are available immediately, which tracks with the complaints about Generation 2. The best story, the most beautiful art in terms of the design of maps and levels in the field, which relates to the point I just wrote down, which is the selective hatred and glazing of long routes with puzzles. Before in every other route, it was lacking content with no filler. Constant jokes about capitalism, the pad for time. Trico is the correct starter.
No, it's Mudkip. Fuck off.
The map is apparently too short.
No, it's not. What are you?
And then...
Also, the story is not good. The story is ass. It is goofy and it's ass. But the game itself is good.
See here, if I read this correctly. Third generation is controversial because some people like it and hate it, and some correctly ID it as the start of the worst trends. They didn't explain what trends were bad. They just pointed out a bunch of superfluous things and then said, well, see, this is why it's true.
Yay. Stupid. Stop it.
And then there was the complaint about content and characterization. She, in the last game, if there was ever a trainer that could give you their phone number to call them, actively avoided them. In this game, she complained because the scientist that gives you the phone feature with the Pokephone basically forces you, through the content of what's in the game, to take the phone numbers of all these other trainers. So, actively avoiding characterization from characters, just like they did with Silver.
Well, I will agree that I dislike that feature. Because mostly it doesn't help you any, and it doesn't really add a whole lot. Sure, it gives the characters personality, but really, what does that go towards the actual story and gameplay?
I suppose that's an argument.
The only time it matters is if it's something that has to do with an event, and that only was in like a few of the generations.
I see.
So yeah, no, she's wrong about a lot of stuff.
Oh, there was multiple situations where there are multiple jump-offs in the story, many story hooks to have opportunity for content, and all the ones that she hates are having a bad idea under layers of bullshit and not having good ideas that are straight through. More the same, basically. Alright, let's
this
go.
through?
Yeah.
We want more land for human expansion. What humans? You're gonna kill them all, Maxie. Are you infected by an alien plague? Is this the fucking screwfly solution? You're gonna bury humanity.
This is exactly why this is an ass
You piss
storyline.
boy. You prodigious buffoon. So after I destroy Maxie with facts and logic, he just leaves and leaves the meteorite here. What the fuck is going on in that man's head? Then Archie asks, whose side am I on? Sir, I literally wasn't allowed to move on with my badges until I came up here. Perhaps you should stop blocking every route and children wouldn't go looking for you to get you out of their way. I'm on whichever side helps me become the champion.
So
Actually,
your
since I'm here,
villains
out of all
aren't
the-
supposed to be in the game. Oh, they're not supposed to be a part of the game at all. You're not supposed to run into them. They're just supposed to be background. You never have to get involved with them. They never have to be part of the plot. I'm destroying you with facts and logic, Lily.
Lily complained that in well, actually no, complimented the fact that in Generation 2, you could go out of your way to go fuck with Giovanni. But I suppose in this case, since it's forced content that's a part of the story of the game, now it's bad. So,
Everything bad.
So, when it's optional, but it gives you catharsis, then not a problem. When it gives you no catharsis, and you can't find a way to give yourself catharsis, then bad.
Wordy supervillains Pokemon has, Magma and Aqua are probably the best because they only have a few moments in the story. Plasma and Galactic are encountered at damn near every route in their respective games, and you often have no choice but to stop them. But I went several towns before running into Magma and Aqua again.
Because they're supposed to be an antagonist, your protagonist, you dumb cunt. The game would be boring. It would be a sandbox. It wouldn't be an RPG if you didn't have to interact with fucking antagonists.
It'd be Gen 1. That's the problem. The basic constraints of design that they added with all the different teams, because really, every single villain team is just Team Rocket over again in a different region. They are antagonists that involve a two-line plot, because if you didn't have these teams, it would be Gen 1 again, but without the presence of Team Rocket. That wouldn't be fun. It'd be straight through fight, fight, battle, battle, fight, 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 battle, 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 fight. And then Lily would complain about that.
She doesn't know what she wants. It's the endless battle of, I want this, but I don't want this.
Until the Weather Institute, and that's a whole 2.5 badges away. And that makes sense. They need that time to go concoct their evil schemes. I shouldn't be running into them every 5 minutes, Unova. They're not as good as Giovanni, but I'll take Patchy the Pirate and the Sons of Adam as a compromise. So the gym in Laboratory Town is, how do I put it? Fucking terrible. You have to step on these pads to go between levels, and the distinction between what's a pad and what's a trainer hiding under the mud, hoping you get there before they suffocate to death is left up to the machinations of fate. Sometimes it just throws you in the middle of a double battle. Isn't that great? And the gym leader stammers for introduction despite having all that time to prepare it. Great first impressions.
There's not supposed to be any sort of interaction with the game. There's not supposed to be any sort of complexity. The gyms aren't supposed to be unique with the challenges to get to the gym leaders. You're supposed to just get a straight shot to it. You are so shallow. You're so beyond shallow. It's baffling how shallow you are, and yet you claim to be some sort of entertainment critic. Some sort of media critic. But you don't like media. So why do you do this?
Attendant. Revenue.
God.
Like, if you're gonna fault every single gym's design and style without having a straight shot to them, like the Elite Four, then what the fuck is the problem? I
don't remember her saying anything about the trash cans in the first game.
Oh, she complained about the fucking... She complained about it, but it wasn't as big as a complaint as the other ones with the Switch puzzle from the gym in, the third gym in this game.
I was talking about. I don't remember her making a big deal out of that.
It wasn't as complex and tedious as, say, the Team Rocket Fortress. But then, that's like still confusing though.
There's literally... That is probably one of the most annoying gym puzzles ever. This is nothing. I don't... Oh, my brain hurts.
Basically, I think, unless it's randomized every game, I think she just used a guide and just cheesed her way through the game. She admitted that she was using a guide for all these games, so, like, guides and save states. Yeah, guides and save states.
Did so many girls have crushes on you back in 2002? Though because this is a fire gym and I have a core fish, I feel that what I'm about to do these Pokemon is some kind of war crime, or at least I would if Slim didn't get off a sunny day boosted overheat. Fine, Banshee solved everything. So I have the 4th badge, and then Brendan gives me some goggles to get through the desert. Love you, poet. Heading back to Petalburg, I decided to take the rest of tunnel instead of Meteor Falls because I wanted to explore the desert. The desert's a cool zone, but there isn't much to it. It's just a place to fight ground trainers and just see this new tile set. But I did come here for one reason, and that was to catch a Trapinch. Trapinch is really good. It evolves into Flygon, which covers my need for a fly user, and also covers a lot of weaknesses in my team. You can't go wrong with one, honestly. One trip back through Rusted Tunnel in the woods later, and I'm back at my father's. So the Petalburg gym's gimmick is item use. You choose a room that centers around a different stat, attack, speed, defense, whatever, and not only are the Pokemon geared toward that stat, they use items to boost those stats. It is kind of interesting because that necessitates different counterplay. Do you want to go for the bulky ones and melt them, or take your bulky Pokemon against Sweep? When you reach Norman, he's using everything. His main Pokemon is a Slacking, which hits like a truck and can tank a lot of damage, but moves very slowly. I fought like a dirty coward spamming Calm Mind on Spinda because spamming Calm Mind is literally the best decision you can ever make. And with G being a lot faster than any of his other Pokemon, it was just straight sweet. You see how broken this Pokemon is? People think I'm joking when I say
the best decision you could have made is get a fighting type Pokemon with Protect. Because you can hit him on his truant turns. And then you can Protect when he attacks you. It is the easiest way to cheese the living crap out of this particular gym.
Wow.
If you think Calm Minding is the best tactic, no, it's not.
I don't like the way that they use the word broken. Broken is not what that's... Broken is not the word I'd use for that. It's not even close to the word I'd probably use for that.
No.
Strategies in games like this are plentiful, considering it's a single-player game. Inside of the multiplayer scene and the tournaments, of which I have seen the tournaments, you would be decimated before your tactics ever worked. But of course, as I've been told by Kasog, apparently the Pokemon content creators, when it comes to that regard, are extremely aggressive with their opinions. Even then, let's go back to that section. You go to the desert specifically to pick up a Trapinch, and you're willing to put it in your roster because it's a good find. And of your favorites, it is in there because it is a good favorite to cover for your team's weaknesses. And then you say, bro, my tactic, it's so broken. Except when I got broken over and busted when it didn't work. That means it's not broken. If it can be countered easily, or countered with some level or any amount of resistance that is beneath non-tedious, considering this is a computer, that would classify, means it's not broken. Something that's broken is something that's guaranteed to work every time, all the time. It's something that breaks the AI of the enemy, because I have a certain enemy, and I fought them at a certain time of day, and I used a specific rotation of attacks or items before it then got broken on this loop that literally destroyed its Boolean statement, so it literally cannot act, because it doesn't have an action to go to. That would be what broken would mean in this state. And you mean by broken, you mean overpowered, and it's not overpowered.
Not at all.
Line is literally the best decision you can ever make, and with G being a lot faster than any of his other Pokemon, was just a straight sweep. You see how broken this Pokemon is? People think I'm joking when I say Gardevoir needs some serious nerfs because they aren't very good and competitive. But in the main game, they just slaughter by virtue of having good moves. A big problem with Psychic types in Gen 1 was that they had very high Spatak and Spadif by virtue of how the special stat worked, and their big weakness was physical attacks. A lot of them were reconfigured to just one of those in Gen 2, but Gardevoir, again, has very high Spatak and Spadif, and the ability to pad those stats with an early game Calm Mind.
Stop calling it that.
The only time they call it Spatak and Spaduf is when they're joking.
But this is supposed to be a serious...
Arcus.
This is supposed to be a serious review, and that sounds like you don't take the game serious, which you don't. But you don't take the game serious enough to understand that if that's what you're just going to declare it to be, people are going to repeat the words you say, and then people are going to look at them like they're fucking stupid.
Calm Mind makes you stronger and bulkier, and it really should only do one of those things. This isn't helped by the fact that Dark, the type added to ranged psychic types in, is special. So even without Calm Mind, they can still take a crunch to the face, and with it, it's even worse. You'd think Gen 4 fixed this with the physical special split, but it didn't. Gardevoir just got even more moves, and they could already learn Reflect to curb physical attackers. You give Gardevoir Reflect and Calm Mind, and they're basically unkillable. How bad is it? It's this bad.
No. You are extremely killable.
The argument.
Reflect and Calm Mind, and they're basically unkillable. How bad is it? It's this bad.
Reflect 2 Calm Minds and a level 6 disadvantage.
I'm not kidding. This is the single most broken Pokemon in the main game that has largely gone unfixed because most people just don't bother to find out that this...
I think this is just you wanting to make headcanons so that you can get art like this for your character.
It's also emblematic of her being lazy because there are level caps. Why are you 6 levels below who you're fighting anyways? Do you not level grind? Do you not use rare candies? Do you not do any of that shit?
Oh, I put that down there. And that's number 15. Refuses to level and grind to an appropriate state to deal with the lack of content. Favorites slowing down the team.
This is such a problem. One Pokemon should not be breaking the game that much. Anyway, I got the balance badge. That's fucking hilarious given what I did.
It's breaking the game that much, but it wasn't breaking the game from level 4 now, was it? Nah, it wasn't.
Get it. After that, a strange man asked me to follow him into his house, and it turns out to be Wally's father, who heard Wally ran away and wants to thank me for inspiring him to do that. Wow, way to tell me you hate your kid, bro. He gives me surface thanks. Hooray, now I can cross that tiny river behind which lies the rest of the game. So the routes between here and Fortree are interesting because it's mostly a trek through a tropical grassland filled with rivers and tall cliffs. This half of the game is more centered around water, so even the land routes involve a lot of it, and visually, it's very interesting. Lots of changing terrain and winding routes and multiple linear paths depending on what bike you have. I actually forgot how to get over these things. I had to look it up. I like this aspect of Gen 3. It's simple, but it does feel like I'm on an adventure through dangerous landscapes, just a little bit. I feel like
it's got different changes and shit, but it's simple.
I then found Team
Yep, that's just bullshit. You're pulling shit out of your ass to justify your favorite.
At the Weather Institute, who are looking for... Actually, what are they looking for? I can't remember. I crossed them because it's just tradition at this point. A little while later, I ran into Brendan, and he challenged me to a fight, which I won, naturally, and he gave me the HM for Fly. Well, that's nice. Tell me, I said hi. Arriving in Fortree City, I bothered some of the locals. Why are you laying in a treehouse? Are you 8? Give me a TM or I'm going to bully you. Woo, mugging people works. Anyway, the gym is blocked off because something is in the way, and I have to go out of the city and onto the route to find Steven, who will tell me, oh yeah, that's a Kecleon. Nasty little bastards. Use the scope to find them. Hooray, the gym is open. Fortree Gym is a flying type gym that uses these rotating walls as its puzzle. You need to maneuver yourself in a way so that you can move the walls the way you want them to open the way to Winona. It's not bad. It requires a little bit of thinking. Really good for the kids, honestly. The fight with Winona was really no big deal. Her team is all flying, so Shockwave handles most of them, and Psychic took care of both Tropius and Altaria. Like I said, G's pretty busted. The next stop on our journey is Mount Pyre because we overheard Team Aqua saying they were chasing Team Magma there. Now, Mount Pyre is weird. It's another Ghost and Psychic dungeon, and at the end you can get a Shadow Ball TM, which is neat. But it's a completely optional dungeon that you don't actually have to do. There's a hallway to the left that takes you right to the peak of Mount Pyre where you actually need to go. There's not enough content, but I'm just
optional. Oh. The horror. God, it makes me viscerally angry because it's so stupid.
There's like nothing I can say at this point because this is the same shit again from the first 2 parts.
It really is. Oh, it gets worse. If we get to Gen 5, you're going to be angry.
And I'm still young.
So instead we take a shortcut to the peak, run along the cliffs, and then reach a gauntlet of Aqua Grunts that is definitely not the same gauntlet from Generation 1. This is completely different because at the end they challenge you to a double battle. Ooh. And at the end, Archie goes, now I can bring my plans to fruition. What are your plans? Or did you like to know? And he vanishes. Sometimes I sit there and stare at that spot, wondering where he went. Where did you go, gay pirate man? Then the old lady tells me that the blue orb and red orb belong together and can't be separated, and tells me to go please bring them back so they can be orb wives in peace, and gives me a key to the magma hideout to do it. And honestly, reuniting a pair of inanimate lesbians is the single greatest mission a child could be given. Don't worry, old lady, I'll bring them back, I swear. Right after I get some chocolate. So I run into Brendan from the Lily...
Why is everything gay or queer or you're calling Max Archie gay? You're calling everything lesbian bait or is related to being lesbian. Why?
Headcanon.
Why are you inserting your headcanon in here so fucking hard into a kid where it doesn't exist?
I believe the retort in this situation would be, but it's my video, I can make gay jokes if I want to. I mean, I would prefer if we all didn't know that you now live in a throuple, but I mean, I'd also like if you didn't cheer on the, quote, boyfriend that's fucking your wife, you said? Some of us all feel inadequate from time to time, but you must feel inadequate 5 times a night.
Maul, who insists he's not buying any dolls. And honestly, I didn't suspect he was buying dolls at first, but now that he went out of his way to deny it, he's definitely buying dolls. Make sure you buy one for your girlfriend and one for your girlfriend's wife. Give me a plushie, Brendan. Okay, he decided to fight me instead, and when he loses, he can't take it and says he's going home to Little Root. I just humiliated him so badly that he gave up. Seriously, Poet, you don't deserve the shit you're getting from me. Getting back to my mission to reunite the Orb Wives takes me to Mount Chimney, where Team Magma's hiding, which is a much more fitting hideout than the one they have in Ruby and Submissive Ruby. They're hidden deep inside a volcano that's almost maze-like. It's actually pretty cool, but it seems there's no air conditioning in there because several rooms complain about being hot and
you're gonna mention Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but you're not gonna actually go over it. Yeah, I see you. I see you don't give a shit, actually give a shit about the entire series. Or that the remakes do make improvements. That's not a complete retrospective, dumbass.
That's just you taking the piss out of the games for 6 hours and 24 minutes and 23 seconds.
But as you get closer to Maxie, oh boy, Niagara Grunch is tucked into every little nook and cranny. I fucking love it, she said sarcastically. Yes, I do want to fight your 50th Zubat, sir. I make it to Maxie and he uses the blue orb to Groudon, only for Groudon to rocket into the sky. As you do, and Maxie's just completely flummoxed. Like, he's genuinely confused as to what just happened. Not only did the blue orb not work, but this creature of the land just took off into the sky as if repelled from the orb, and then he blames me for it. Like, sir, I am a 10-year-old girl. I cannot lift that dinosaur. Please calm your fabulous tits. Well, he wants to fight, and I slap him down because that's just how this goes at this point, and then he's willing to listen when I say there's a reason that Groudon left, and then leaves to go chase after it. Very productive conversation, Maxie. Returning to Slateport, it turns out that Captain Cern is finished with his submarine project that he intends to use to explore the ocean, so it's a good thing we brought those Devon goods to him. Good job, sir, and I'm very proud of and Team Aqua stole it. I don't even know how they got in there. I'm almost impressed. But unfortunately for them, I know exactly where their hideout is. It's in the city that's crawling with aqua grunts. Seriously, you could not be any less conspicuous if you tried. Where the Magma hideout was a mess of navigating tunnels, the Aqua hideout is more high-tech with teleporter pads all over the place. So I'm getting Silph flashbacks, and I don't like it. No wonder people hate working for you. One gang works in a sweltering volcano base, the other gang just turned their base into a maze for sheer sadistic thrill. Because Team Aqua's Pokemon are all water, dark, and flying, except Island G can wreck this place like nobody's business. I actually thought G
turned it into a maze for fun. They're thieves with a technological Gerudo's palace. Why would they design it for the convenience of a 10-year-old child?
And why would they be conspicuous in a game catered towards children? Oh, they just need to figure it out. They just need to get good. No, it's not Dark Souls. They're not meant to be inconspicuous. They're meant to tell you you're in the right place. Good lord.
It's so fucking stupid.
just for this. I eventually make it to the bay and have to fight Matt, who's just rocking the shirtless look today. Good for you, Matt. Second scars are nothing to be ashamed of. Feed yourself. I'm gonna crush you though, so like square the fuck up. But it turns out that he was just stalling for time so Archie could finish preparing the submarine. Clever boy, Matt. With myself thoroughly humbled.
And Matt's now a post-stop double mastectomy because reasons.
Yeah.
Left the aqua base in search of Archie, and here starts the dreaded sea routes. Okay, so the entire latter half of the game's story takes place on the ocean. Given the importance placed on the balance of land and sea, half the game taking place on the sea isn't necessarily a bad idea. Exploring the ocean is cool. People like doing it. Wind Waker is nothing but that, and it's fucking great. The problem is the fact that the gameplay of the sea routes is unchanged. Sea routes are, in my opinion, the most underutilized aspect of Pokemon games. There's so many cool things you could do with it if you wanted to for comparatively little effort. Make wayfinding a mechanic to figure out where you're going. Give you interesting places to explore little islands and coral reefs. Have interesting things in the ocean to find. But in Pokemon, sea routes are just roads filled with wild Pokemon and trainers, and they're places where the wild Pokemon infest every tile. On land routes, wild Pokemon are only found in tall grass, and the tall grass is used to detail the environments as well. But the rest of the route is relatively safe. But sea routes are like caves where you get harassed on every single damn tile. They're also visually very boring. There's water, there's rocks, sometimes there's dirt. That's it. The only thing Hoenn
any
is
sort of
dive, which should be really cool.
You can't handle any sort of pushback. You know there's a thing called a repel, right? So for a certain amount of steps, you won't see any Pokemon that aren't at least your level or above.
This is like SMT rules. It's why one of the first things you do when you get demons is you find each of the demons that has the safety step and the demon that has the enrichment step. So if you have to power farm until you can actually just one-tap things by punching it in the mouth, then you can do so. And then once you've done it, assuming that your Demi-Fiend has a multi-hit, you then just start waxing their ass until you come across something that requires you to have Holy. And then you just wax their ass with an almighty spell. That is exactly the same reason. It's the exact same mentality and philosophy. And yet, I haven't once heard her ever mention using anything to attract Pokemon or to repel Pokemon. Not once.
Nope. Doesn't understand the game mechanics whatsoever. Not an iota.
cool, but in practice, diving just takes you to a canyon that is just more rock. Sometimes there's a little foliage, but otherwise it's just another path that you find a few other Pokemon in. Can you imagine being a dev on this game, having the entire theme of land and sea drilled into your head, and not making the sea routes anything close to as interesting as the land routes? And what's even worse is that despite the entire Pokemon fanbase complaining about this, from the moment these games came out, when IGN made the same complaints about the remakes, people got mad at them for bringing it up. Like, they were the target of mockery for too much water. Like, assholes, you were complaining about this shit for a decade, and they still haven't fucking fixed it. Instead, they wasted their time making an entire post-game story where you get ranted to about ham-fisted philosophy, like crappy characters, and then catch another few useless legendary. It's so fucking ridiculous that they can't get...
So, mad that they've got content.
And then mad that they can capture a legendary that more than likely she ignored catching.
Yep.
How dare people be able to capture rare Pokemon?
Half their gameplay loop, right? Even after 2... Oh, hey, we're here. So before I can chase after Aqua, I need a badge from Musty's gym before I'm allowed to dive into water. Kind of like how I needed to beat the instructor of a game of Hearthstone to get my firearms license. Taking Liza's gym is filled with rotational puzzles. You have to hit the right pads to make things rotate to make a path to the next objective. It's not bad, but it has a lava rage problem where you always think you might be able to worm your way around the gym trainers, but you just can't. On the plus side, the design of the gym actively discourages backtracking to the Pokemon Center, which is neat. I always feel the gym is ruined when you make me do that. Taking Liza are the token double battle among the gym leaders, and all their Pokemon are psychic, but most of them are rock and ground as well, so Sephiroth's got this, and G can take care of Xatu. And G can trace levitate, which means Claydol's cheeky little earthquakes aren't a problem. Then come out their signature Pokemon, Lunatone and Solrock. At first things are going well, but then Solrock gets off a sunny day, and Lunatone starts to stack those calm minds. Hey, that's my cheap strategy, you lunar bitch, but it's alright, Larian's got this. See? Oh crap. Oh crap. Well, I don't have any physical attackers left, so I guess we're stuck chipping away at Lunatone's health and maybe confusing them. Okay, you are officially on my shit list. I just decided to fight fire with fire and start raising my own stats to put us on equal footing. Praying Lunatone didn't knock me out in the process. See what I mean? Calm Mind is broken as fuck. You know, I'm starting to take this as personal. It's okay, I got them eventually. Our combination...
Maybe it's not the Calm Mind. Maybe it's that your team is bad.
It's the team's ass.
was shattered. All your Pokemon went down like chumps. It was just Lunatone that survived. What kind of trainer relies on one single Pokemon to carry the entire... Anyway, we're off to chase Team Aqua to the bottom of the... We're off to the Space Center to stop Team Mag...
That's not a funny joke.
It's not.
Went down like chumps. It was just Lunatone that survived. What kind of trainer relies on one single Pokemon to carry the entire...
See, here's your problem. Last time, it was Butterfree. Now, it's Guarvire. And its entire evolution line. If you have enough sense to recognize the criticism, then you would take a serious bit of time to demonstrate the difference between what is a joke and what is actual tactics. Instead, you confound actual strategy and criticisms with jokes. You pulled a donkey. And so I can't respect you. And it's fucking annoying.
I mean, we can't respect her anyways because we know who and what she is.
I mean, that stands without that's knowledgeable without standing. But if we were to ignore who she was, her reputation, and how often she gets it wrong, I have less knowledge of the generations outside of 2. I can't take your word to be truthful unless you show me. And even then, I can look at what you're showing me and I can think to myself, but you said this, and then you said this. So how does this change between here and here? Oh, I have enough jokes. I have made enough of jokes to recognize that I depend on Guarvire. So I'm suffering from the consequence of my... You didn't treat it like it was like that, though. You were just upset that your tactic was being broken. That's not a criticism. That's you whining. If you wanted to say, I firmly believe that Calm Mind is one of many legitimate strategies that I can use as a crutch. Okay, but it's still a crutch. You still have to learn how to build your teams correctly. You're willing in this game to go out of your way to get a Pokemon to fill the holes in that strategy. Instead of just designing a team that works and having alternates. First string, second string, third strings. Creatures that are put together specifically to deal with a problem and a challenge. Like any monster-raising game teaches you to. With the exception of Digimon. Digimon is different. Digimon is different. Especially Digimon World. Especially Digimon World 1. Without using the cheat that makes it so that you can actually be able to consistently hit the bonus try. Especially Digimon World 1. Regardless, Digimon is different, but all of the Monster Trainer games are all like this, including SMT. This is cope. This is not just cope. This is hysterical, hypocritical cope. But it's just a joke, Carl. Fuck you, it's not a joke. You said the shit seriously.
Anyway, we're off to chase Team Aqua to the bottom of the ocean. We're off to the Space Center to stop Team Magma from robbing the base of its rocket. What? You're on this again? You're still trying to make the volcano erupt? You already awoke a giant Pokemon. You're back on this? Well, taking control of the Earth itself didn't work. We should go back to the drawing board. I really feel like we were getting somewhere with that volcano thing. This is actually really interesting because Team Magma failed to take control of Groudon and then just said, well, we're gonna move on to our next goal. Like they've completely given up on the legendary Pokemon. I almost admire that. The evil teams these days are so tied to the legendaries that the idea that they could fail and just move on to the next planet is almost inconceivable. This is actually kind of neat. It isn't until after you beat them that they start to think that maybe they're barking up the wrong tree and decide to investigate the matter. I'll have more to say about this later on, but suffice to say, I think Team Aqua and Magma have aged a lot better than most evil teams. Anyway, now that I've got the proper form signed in triplicate to the Mossy Gym, I now have license to dive underwater because the Pokemon Leaguers run by Vogons apparently. We're chasing after a sailor who was obsessed with getting his whale. I plowed my way through the aqua grunts and then got there before Archie somehow. What, did you stop for a pretzel? Did you give me one? Sadly, the power of the red orb only made Kyogre hunger for the flesh of her brother, and Archie is left holding the literal idiot ball. Maxie comes by and tells Archie what he figured out like 2 dungeons ago, and we come up to the surface to see that climate change is upon us. It's at this point that Archie and Maxie fully come to grips with what they've done. They've doomed everyone, and they didn't realize it until it's too late. I think that's what I like about Archie and Maxie. It's not that they're misguided, it's not that they want to do good, it's that they're fucking idiots. These two go about trying to create an apocalypse, not realizing just how suicidal it is until dawn on the final day, and they realize, oh, hang on. They spend the entire game like, I'm gonna cause a climate crisis and kill a lot of people. And then when they cause a climate crisis and it starts killing people, they're like, oh, smooth move, dicks for eyes, you sure showed all us normies. I love how Maxie tells me, don't say anything. I like to imagine that May was giving him the most smug bitch grin possible. So to clean up this mess, we have one option, and that's to go to Sky Pillar. Because what do you do when the land and sea are fighting? Call Sky Daddy, of course. So I climb up to the top of the pillar.
That's another thing. I know that May was a titular character for the region, but I'm pretty sure they still give the choice to be male and female in this game, yeah? Or did she step away? Yes, she did.
See this massive dragon-looking motherfucker? He takes one look at me and goes, ugh, this again, and flies off.
It's him!
I fly back to Sutopolis City to watch as Rayquaza descends from the clouds like a heavenly angel, lowers himself down upon his 2 brethren who are fighting, and cries, and then they slink back to their caves like frightened little children, and Rayquaza goes back to his perch. This whole sequence is just me telling on them to their dead. It's awesome. Even Archie and Maxie comment on the fact that he just zipped down and Uncle filled them back to sleep like, wow, we really went through all that trouble and it was fixed that quickly. Compared to Ruby and Sapphire, the calamity that Aqua Magma unleashes is far less intense in Pokemon Emerald. The weather changes rapidly and you can fix it by rushing to Rayquaza. Even the music it plays is a lot less serious, it's just a slowed down version of heavy rainfall. In Sapphire, all of Hoenn is plagued by intense rain with the sound of rainfall just pummeling into your ears with lightning flashing while panicked hasty music plays.
A track that would not sound out of place in Metroid.
It really captures the feeling of anxiety and fleeing from a storm, like everyone's hastily getting in their cars, driving off, probably getting on ships, trying to decide what they should take before deciding to only take the essentials. Just listening to this music, you can imagine a little girl dropping her teddy bear but they don't go back for it. In Ruby, the entire land is covered in bright, oppressive, pulsing sunlight that even just looking at makes you feel like you're under a hot desert sun. And the music is this intense, harsh tone that's borderline creepy. This just feels like you're living in a drought. This is the one thing Ruby and Sapphire have above Emerald, in that they make the weather calamity feel like a calamity. Even the response from Team Aqua and Magma respectively carries more horror behind it as they realize the full extent of what they've done. Now, the remakes are the worst of these because while the story hasn't changed much, it's been made much more verbose and lathers the player in grandiose importance the entire time. Even the music is worse. The heavy rainfall music sounds more like the underwater stage of a Sonic game.
Even though I'm listening to it at double speed, I don't think it's that much of a big difference, dude. I think you're just coping again. This is the same thing they did with a lot of things that got remixes. Some tracks are a lot more beautiful in their original sound font because the sound font itself was an art design. When you choose to do the remakes, one of the things that has to get remade and remastered is the original score. And this is where they then add the additional sounds that are now capable and possible on the sound chip and on the system. And but if what you're going to compare it to is a chip font, where I take a sound that was in 8-bit or 16-bit or 32-bit and then update it for the 7th generation, I think we're allowed to have different takes. If you like them, like them. But I don't think you need to take time to talk about the music when you're complaining about that lack of a story that you don't like so much, especially if it's, quote, grandiose and meaningless.
While Drought sounds like I'm trying to pilot a spaceship away from a star that's about to be a supernova. I'm not a fan. I think the heavy rainfall and drought themes of the original Ruby and Sapphire are some of the best music the series has ever had, both for how well composed they are, but also how they each capture a very different kind of terror that their respective weather is supposed to bring. When people talk about good music in Pokemon, they don't really think about where it's used. The music in a video game is all about the atmosphere it sets. Sure, maybe sometimes in Pokemon are creepier or more intense, like the theme to N's room and Zinnia's battle theme comes to mind, but the difference is that Ruby and Sapphire are setting the mood for something that's actually good and creepy and unsettling. N's room is a creepy theme, but N is the single most obnoxiously verbose waste of effort, value, money, space, and time the series has ever had. Zinnia's battle theme is intense, but the actual fight with Zinnia is not. I did come here expecting to really kick Team Aqua and Magma in the teeth, but I really think they both aged surprisingly well in the original version. Their dialogue is succinct and their characters are a lot more charming than later villains. They really capture the vibe of an eco-terrorist and that they're fucking idiots who will only hasten ecological collapse. I know people like the later villains for spouting ham-fisted philosophy and pretending to be deep and complex, but there's only so much complex you can get when your end goal is the same as the bad guy from Kingdom Hearts. Aqua and Magma are good. You two get to live. Anyway, now that I'm free of the plot, I'm allowed to get the last gym badge.
Oh my god, please stop talking about Kingdom Hearts. Xehanort wanted to bring about the power of the Keyblade, or rather Keyblade. To do so required bringing out people that personified the combat that was done in the original Keyblade War. Attempting to insult an already complex gameplay with not very well understood, even amongst those who are scholars on it, lore, is fucking ham-fisted. Stay on topic, Lily. Stay on topic.
To prove I'm worthy of challenging the Elite Four, because neither rain nor drought nor big kaiju fight is going to halt the bureaucracy for even a second. So Topless Gym is great because you can bypass every trainer fight and go right to the gym leader if you're capable of doing second-grade puzzles. The gym leader is Juan, who looks like if James Bond was a Tumblr sexy man and uses water Pokemon. His first Pokemon is a love disc. A fucking love disc. A Pokemon that can't actually fight and just exists to be cute. Calm thy trousers, Don Juan. The next is Celio, who is slightly more capable of taking sharp leaps to the face. Slightly. Then comes Kingdra, who crunches my Sceptile, and so now I need a new strategy. So I thought, hey, let's fight water with water. This did not work. Fine, I guess we'll have to rely on G again. After curb stomping Kingdra, Juan brought out a Crawdont. Unfortunately, I thought G Thunderbolt. Love the smell of cooking lobster. Then comes out a Wish Cash, a ground type. Well played, Juan. But sadly, Psychic will always beat the sheer raw sexual energy of that mustache. So now I have the final badge. That was anticlimactic. So now I'm moving on to Victory Road, which unlike the last game wasn't cut and replaced with an outdoor gauntlet. Damn it. But very early in the dungeon, I run into Wally, who is determined not to lose to me again. He's trained, he's gotten stronger, he's at the end of his character arc, and now just has to beat his rival. Come on, Wally, you can do it. He opens with Altaria, who is just about as fast as the truck it hits like. I'm going into this quite underleveled, in fact, and I did this deliberately so Wally would outlevel my Pokemon in this battle. He takes down Sceptile and G comes out. Altaria falls to a Thunderbolt, and out comes Delcatty, who falls to a single Psychic. Come on, Wally, you can do it. His next Pokemon is a Magneton, who bodies my Larion. Like, holy shit, he's so powerful. He even confuses my Vibrava. Oh no, it's okay, I got off that cheeky little crunch. Out comes Roselia, who crunches my poor little bug with a Giga Drain. G comes out and slays Roselia with a Psychic. Wally's last Pokemon is his Gardevoir, who's already at a disadvantage because Thunderbolt isn't resistant. Monster! And then another crit takes him out for good. What's up? I'm sorry, Wally, but it had to be this way. Wally's fight is actually fun in this version. In the remake, it's certainly presented better, where Wally challenges you in a field of flowers set with his own rock track as a battle theme, feeling like it was ripped right out of those 90s tournament cartoons. I love it. But unfortunately, they made it easier. His Pokemon team is exactly the same despite the mechanical changes between Gen 3 and Gen 6. And for some reason, Wally's Gardevoir is replaced with a Gallade. Okay, like, but why though? You changed nothing else about his team. Why did you make this change? I mean, I know why. Wally's Gardevoir was always male, and the fact that Gardevoir can be male was a point of contention among some very sad people, and has always been the subject of exactly 2 jokes played on repeat for almost 20 years. This was the only reason Gallade was even.
So then you do know why the change was made. And you're just doing that thing again where you're being pedantic. Shut the fuck up. Joke's not funny.
Added in Gen 4, and Game Freak has been taking this way too personally ever since. Pokemon fandom has always had this really weird hang up about gender. Masculine Pokemon being able to be female and feminine Pokemon being able to be male have always been a huge draw of kissy fits. But I've always felt it was too foolish of Game Freak to entertain that notion. Like, the solution to male Gardevoir isn't to make a masculine alternative evolution. The solution is for players to stop being such pathetic sacks of chauvinistic shit. Especially when the end result is that.
Bringing sexism and gender politics into a children's video game. Ah! Technically, I should have wrote that down much, much longer ago. But, hey, I'm the reviewer. I can write it down whenever I want.
That Wally's party is weaker than it was before. Doesn't the poor boy have enough problems? What about the rest of Victory Road, Lily? Oh, what about it? It's a cave. You've seen caves before. Getting right to the Elite Four, the first is Sydney, the Dark-type master. He opens with Mightyena, and who Crawdont makes handy work of. Then comes out Cacturn, who Ninetales makes quick work of. Oh yeah, I have a Ninetales, by the way. Absol is also making quick work of my Ninetales. Good job, Ninetales. Sceptile crushes Crawdont, and Flygon makes quick work of Shiftry, and moving on. At this point, the Elite Four is feeling more like a formality than the main story is. Next comes Phoebe, the Ghost Master. Duscloth kills himself, which is a pretty good metaphor for how I feel doing this, and Aggron takes out Bane. I'm sorry, guys, I really don't have any jokes for this. After 3 generations, there's only so many ways you can make, and then I one-shot
Stop trying to make them.
I defeated Phoebe, move on to Glacia. I melted Glacia, move on to Drake, who actually has a full team of dragons, unlike Lance, so good job, Drake. You're a better Dragon Master than the titular Dragon Master. Doesn't stop me from melting them, though, except Salamence, who hung on like a cheap little bastard he is, and knocked me down to 2 Pokemon. Stubborn bitch. Whatever, moving on to the champion. In Ruby and Sapphire, it was Steven Stone, but in Emerald, he's been upgraded to post-game super boss. So instead, the champion is Wallace, who is perhaps the sluttiest man in Pokemon. And that's including the remakes where everyone got sluttier. Game Freak was horny making this game. Anyway, Wallace's specialty is water Pokemon, and I promise I won't make a joke about being wet. Most of his sluttiest man in Pokemon. And that's including the remakes where everyone got
Where everyone got sluttier? I believe the word you're going for, sweetie, is cuntier. There's a lot of cunt being served here.
They're awesome.
That's what makes them good.
Yeah. They're
So
upgrades, my dude.
So you're complaining about their drip? Drip! The thing that everybody went crazy about with 7th and 8th, if I have that correct, generations. The one that made Cardi B and her then husband a meme. But now they're broken up, so I guess they're not a meme anymore. Who got the Houndoom in the divorce? Oh my god, that's hilarious. That's a joke in and of itself. Pokemon Gym trainers, they break up and now they have to split their Pokemon collection between each other. Including legendaries.
sluttier. Game Freak was horny making this game. Anyway, Wallace's specialty is water Pokemon, and
Game Freak was horny. But not you! The person who can't stop making sexual references.
I won't make a joke about being wet. Most of his Pokemon fell because G's still rocking Sith Lightning and won't hesitate. Ludicolo hung on by virtue of having more full restores and common sense. Wish Cash was a little smarter, raising his special defense, but then he misses his Hyper Beam. Fucking scrub, but then he got off an Earthquake. See, this is what I get for mocking people. But he's 4 times weak to grass, so neener. Next comes Milotic, who is notorious for being able to take a pounding and recover quickly. This boy is a certified power bottom. But it's okay because I have crabs. Wait, whatever. I revived G and proceeded to electrocute Milotic's nipples off. Then he sends out a Gyarados.
Still sexualizing virtual monster pets.
But you have a problem
Well, I
with
can't stop judging
drip.
about how elegant power Pokemon were when they were fighting. I like this guy. And Brandon comes in surprised that I won. Poet, please, why do you hurt me this way? And then I go into a special empty room with an old DOS computer to be registered into the Hall of Fame. And that's Pokemon Emerald. I was pleasantly surprised by how well Gen 3 held up. The writing is as bad as Pokemon games always are, but the terrible writing is complemented by the fact that the main villains are cartoonishly stupid. And yeah, they should be. Pokemon trying to have a deep story always falters in two places. One, it's fucking Pokemon. Their best written villains are two chaotic bisexuals and a talking cat. And
They're not. What? What?
There is no such thing as platonic relationships. Everybody must be fucking or want to fuck.
I hate it here. I hate it so much here.
Because then you know that Meowth was voiced by a transgender, and nobody knew about that until she died. She earned her stripes. That sounds horrible. Why? Did she earn her stripes because she died?
Stop it. That's gross.
And two, Junichi Masuda, the writer of most of these games, can't actually fucking write to save his life. Dude's one of the worst writers I have ever seen, and I have seen Steven Universe in its entirety. So the main story being about two brainless
No. And you just said that the story for this is the best.
This was your favorite.
jackasses both competing to see who can cause an ecological calamity the fastest, only to be completely and utterly blindsided by the fact that an ecological calamity is an ecological calamity, is fucking perfect. Some people deride Archie and Maxie as Saturday morning cartoon villains, but like, guys, Pokemon is a Saturday morning cartoon. There's also the delightful fact that the game engine is buttery.
Just because something is a Saturday morning cartoon does not mean that there can't be subtle jokes for adults or older audiences in it. You were being subtle.
The localization of the Pokemon anime does not mean that every single thing that was written and that you saw in the Americanized dubbed version is like that in the Japanese version. There are more seriously fucked up things that happen than there
like
are.
James with tits.
Yes, like James with tits. There are more fucked up things that happen in all of the narrations, not just the ones that were Johto, Kanto, and Hoenn, that go over people's heads. Not even to mention that one where you had the two adults that were in a relationship pregnant giving birth to a child at the end of the series. There are lots of things that happen in Pokemon, but
or
people...
the fact that Mr. Mime was absolutely banging Ash's mom.
Yes.
There's no way in hell that he wasn't.
There are many things that happen inside the Pokemon games, but people like this are too mature to appreciate them or to see them because they want to see what they want to see.
Pretty smooth. Character movement is super responsive. Battle animations are so fast. Dialogue boxes are fast. This is something we lost in later gens. The game's just slowed to a crawl.
Dialogue boxes are fast so that you don't have to pay attention to the story. So therefore you don't know what the story actually is.
Could move without having to sign forms and triplicate with a processor. This is also the last game where the story is spaced out. From this point onward, the games are going to badger you on every single route.
Games will badger you, but not Gen 3.
He doesn't understand what badgering by a game is. Play Pokemon fucking Reborn. That's badgering you. I literally skip boxes because it's just edgy teenage talk. Literally, it's the in Minecraft blade my wrists and people literally jumping off of bridges.
Really, this is a complaint that would only matter to a speedrunner. The game has too much text, therefore I need to have fast text so I can be able to shave seconds off of my PB. This is not a thing that should matter to you because you're supposed to be doing this for a review. You take your time, but you're not taking your time. Moving on.
City, either with your rivals, your adult supervision, the evil team, or any combination of the three. And this is truly the last game that lets you off the leash at all. It's a melancholy feeling to say the least, but I truly feel that Generation 3's design philosophy
No,
is the
it's
best.
not.
The story fits in a way that isn't so intrusive. It also had the best.
There's Gen 9. Gen 9 lets you off the leash pretty much completely. Are you kidding me?
Apparently not.
Hunted the entire series. Tell me you didn't.
There's part of this where it's like, this was made in 2003, but no, it's still wrong.
Feel like EVO tunnel deciphering runes. This was fucking great. All in all, I think Generation 3 holds up extremely well. I'd go as far as to say that it remains the best generation of Pokemon.
That's your opinion, and your opinion often has been wrong.
Gen 4, the move to the Nintendo DS, a platform that created some of the most beautiful 2D games on the planet, and which way too many devs tried to go 3D on. The Nintendo DS.
And way too many devs try to go 3D. I'm pretty sure I recognize that, and it's probably the one I...
To the Nintendo
It's
DS,
probably
a
exactly
platform
what I
that
thought it
created some of the most
was.
beautiful 2D games on the planet,
Because that's Mystery Dungeon.
and which way too many devs tried to go 3D on.
Actually, no, I don't recognize it.
I have no idea what that is.
if it's not one of many different remakes that happen to feature something that it didn't need.
The Nintendo DS kind of mimicked the 5th generation of consoles, where out of almost...
I don't think it's Legend of Gog 3. That'd be weird if it was. But maybe it is. If you know what it is in the comment section, let us know.
Seeming obligations, sprites went out and first generation polygons went in. Now for some developers this wasn't a problem. For all of its faults, 358 over 2 days worked out perfectly as a 3D game on the Nintendo DS, but this is Game Freak we're talking about. Game Freak decided that the best idea was to make...
Well, you see, they already had experience doing that on the GBA. So they already had an idea of how to make use of sprites and then translate that into polygonal shapes in a 3-dimensional or 2.5-dimensional space. And even at its time, especially with the fact that it was on the Game Boy fucking Advance of all things, Chain of Memories was 2.5 on a 3-dimensional space. Because you still had the x-axis. You had XYZ axis in full directions. That's not an argument, bro.
No. Make all the characters out of 2D sprites, but build the actual map out of 3D geometry, which certainly helped to make the environments look more detailed, but also tormented the DS processor. Combine that with Game Freak's usual poorly optimized code, and the game was locked to 30 FPS. This is a commonly understood issue. The games run on fast...
Okay, so here's a complaint that never matters. The only people who this would matter for is for people who have screens whose refresh rate has to be set to a certain rate in order for it to not break the visuals of the game. I don't care if the game's at 30 FPS. I don't care if the game's at 60 FPS. Some games have an internal system that is meant to be ran on its design to emulate a particular feel. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, play a ROM hack that happens to be playing any version of a game that's running at a undercranked or overcranked speed on purpose at a rate that it's not supposed to be at. So for example, Ocarina of Time is running at 21 frames a second for the purposes of making it feel like a more cinematic scene. Play that shit at 30 or 60 frames a second and you're going to see the visual graphical wrongness that it has. Basic shit. This is not a complaint that has ever mattered and is not going to ever matter. It's bullshit.
Admirably slowly in movement, battle transitions, health bars. That last one is the only one people actually remember, in fact. And Generation 5 is no better. The games are still slow because they're made out of even more 3D geometry, and this time pixelate like crazy if you move at all. Now, playing the Generation 4 games, I actually applied a small modification to remove the frame rate cap, which means you won't see me complaining about how slow the games are. But it is a notorious problem across the generation.
So, you modified the game, which, okay, you're allowed to modify your own game, but that also means you're not ever allowed to complain about the speed of the game, period. But Dora, she said she wasn't gonna. No, she wouldn't have had the ability to at all. Because she is so laced up on crack that she needs to speed it up because she can't take her time. Which is a theme. She doesn't take her time. She doesn't do anything right. And it will continue to be a problem.
Now, playing the Generation 4 games, I actually applied a small modification to remove the frame rate cap, which means you won't see me complaining about how slow the games are. But it is a notorious problem across the generation. Suffice to say, it is much more playable with these fixes applied. Also, in the interest of transparency, from this generation onto Generation 8, I will either be modifying the starters to include a Ralts or importing one from Pokemon Home, purely for the sake of keeping things interesting for me. The games are just...
Playing the game as it was intended and learning how to casually... No. I do what I want.
How I want to play it.
I have to have Guadafire.
Yep. Has to be Gardevoir every time.
You're
Available, I have to back it in.
This retrospective is invalidated. I mean, if you want to make the argument of all of it, okay. Everything up to Gen 3, alright, that's valid. You played the game as intended without extreme mod hacks. You just admitted that you fucked with the beginning of the game and got something that you weren't supposed to have yet. Therefore, your retrospective is invalidated. You cheated. You cheated yourself, you cheated the viewers, you cheated the experience, and you learned nothing from it. And you will learn nothing from it, ever, because you don't care to. So why are you trying to tell other people how to expect and what the past of the games were, when you can't even play the games as they were intended? Just fucking shut up and stop. Eat a dick! Eat 5 dicks! Eat 6 dicks at a buffet!
Things a little more bearable. Rest assured, anytime I modify the game, I will be telling you when I've done. The move to full 3D was objectively a bad move. They should have just evolved the 2D look. Use more details.
Here's the thing. I don't believe you. You needing to tell me that you changed anything and then you'll tell me when it's changed. How about don't change it and don't fuck with it, period, and play the game? Too hard.
Sprites and tile sets. Not just because it would have been easier on the processor given their performance, but overall Pokemon just works better in 2D. 2D sprites are brighter and higher contrast, they're more colorful. The 3D models are washed out and gray filtered, and this was something we noticed with Pokemon in Generation 6, but again, like everything, 2D sprites are brighter and higher contrast, they're more colorful.
So, the problem with this is that you want to complain about the fact that, hey, look at how well colored in, and then look at how drabbed out this is. This is what happens when you standardize things. There's a difference between a 3D model and a 2D sprite. You wanted to have graphical fidelity. Many people in the industry wanted to have graphical fidelity. This is what graphical fidelity looks like. It's an opinion to have. I'm not even saying it's a wrong opinion. It's actually a great opinion. There's a reason why a lot of games that have tried to hit that indie scene have brought back the idea of sprites. I mean, that's why most people fell in love with the versions of mods that have innovated on the concept of Stardew Valley, which has just been called Harvest Moon PC since its release. Wanted. Because it gave you all the things that came with a modernized game. You got the modernized visuals and perspective, but you also got the sprite-based pictures. And it all looked nice and pretty. This is not really a complaint, considering the shit you've complained about. If you dislike it so much, why don't you mod the game again and give it back what you think it should have? But then it'd look out of place. And you still would not be doing a proper Era 4 fucking retrospective. Eye roll.
Colorful. The 3D models are washed out and gray filtered, and this was something we noticed with Pokemon in Generation 6, but again, like everything, it starts here. But that's enough preemptive whinging. Let's get going. This time around we get to name our rival, unlike the last game where his name was fixed and I just had a lot of fun.
I thought it started in Generation 3, not Generation 4. Cap.
And as I was playing this on stream with a bunch of backseat gamers, I figured the perfect name for this annoying little bastard with this hyperactive squirrel brain was Chat. Your name is Chat. That is who you are now. Anyway, the moment
Ha ha ha. I'm angry at the people who watch my content, so I'm punishing you. This is the punishment.
take one step, Chat rushes up into my bedroom without knocking, little pervert, and insists that if we ask the professor to give us Pokemon, then he definitely will, which is infallible logic. Chat truly reminds us of wonder to behold. I follow them outside, my mother tells me about wild Pokemon in tall grass. Thanks, Mom, I'm not sure my tiny brain could have figured that one out. After getting outside and fixing the rendering engine so I don't have these ugly black lines everywhere, I join Chat out by the grass, and they say they're going to jump over the grass to avoid the Pokemon, something that I naturally encourage because I want to see their face get torn off by a wild beaver. But unfortunately, Rowan has to be a sensible adult and stop them. I'm trying to murder my audience, Rowan, do you mind? Rowan waffles about how our world would change if we met Pokemon, which I gotta say is a huge departure from Professor Oak. Happy birthday, here's a dragon! Then after 3 pages of dialogue, he gives us a Pokemon. I picked the Ralts I hacked into the game, and Chat immediately decided they wanted battle. Unfortunately, Ralts only knows Growl, so I kinda had to run out the clock on this one, and Growl reduced attack power, so oh god, this took a while. Anyway, after I threw the match, we went home. The next day, my mom gives me some running shoes, and Chat demands we go to the lake. There we find a strange man waxing poetic about time and space. No doubt a small boy with a duck and a dog will be around shortly to take care of him, and then we immediately leave because the area is tainted with his stink. I take a path to Sandgem Town, where Lucas forces me to talk to the professor, and he asks me to name my Ralts, so I named her Jean. Rowan asks me to record all the Pokemon in Sinnoh, but because I'm just a child, I say no, to which Rowan stares at me uncomfortably for 30 seconds and tells me he's a very patient man and can wait all day. And now I'm suddenly aware of just how close the two of them are. He asks me again, and I say yes because I want to leave without getting mauled. As I leave, Rowan screams my name and gives me a TM for return. It's okay, he's an old man, his memory is going. After Lucas tells me what a story is, I'm now free to adventure on my own, at least until I get 20 feet north, where Lucas refuses to let me go further until I tell my family where I'm going. So I go and tell my mother that I've been conscripted into taxonomy, and then finally I can move on. Nope! Lucas insists that he show me how to catch Pokemon. Are you done? Are you through? Will you leave me alone now? I feel like a small child at a brony convention. He eventually lets me through and I make...
Remember when you said the first gen, or rather, the best gen that most people end up playing was their first gen? Did you consider that Gen 4 was some people's start of Pokemon, and therefore that's why they got a tutorial? The same way you're supposed to get a tutorial in every game? Like, I'm just saying this for posterity's sake. I can't even write it down, because it's all the way the fuck back up here. Like, it's the same shit again! The same shit again! Have an opinion! Have a real opinion!
Take it to Jubilee. Hello there. Oh, come on! The bastard scrutinized the fact that I haven't caught any Pokemon yet, and then we run into someone from Interpol, because it's not enough that we have cops as the lowest form of human scum, now they've gone global. I'm pretty sure this qualifies as a pandemic. Anyway, the cop tells me his name is Looker and gives me advice to record my Pokemon battles with. I'm pretty sure I'm being GPS tracked. When I try to leave Jubilee, Looker stops me and won't let me leave until I visit the trainer school. I'm going to kill this cop. I get there, I give Chat their map while they're standing there, spellbound by the chalkboard, and then I leave. So now I can move on to, oh, for the love of... This man tells me to find 3 clowns so he'll give me a watch. I don't want the watch, but I have no choice. After finding the clowns and playing their games, I get the Pokedex. This game's answer to the Pokegear and Pokenav. It's terrible and takes up the entire bottom screen, which I did not record. Anyway, now the way is clear and I can move on to... Oh, come on!
He's just standing there, menacingly!
Chat wants to fight again, and this time I'm going to beat their damn face into the dirt because I have confusion now. Now will you please go away, Chat? Making it to Oreburgh City, it turns out the gym leader's away because they're always away. Chat tells me to go to the mine, so I restrain myself from strangling them for now. It's weird that
I'm just gonna write that down. I feel like I should write that down.
You also gotta love that she's mocking her audience.
Oh no, that's why I'm writing it down. Genuine
Contempt for her audience.
I'm gonna start a genuine. There's no Q in that. I could have swore I had it right the first time and I just gaslit myself into believing I didn't have it. Genuine malcontent and animus for own audience and stream chat. That enough of alone there would tell me, why the fuck are you doing this if you're not doing it out of a love of passion? But The only thing Lily is passionate about is the people that she hates for criticizing her opinions.
That in Sinnoh, gym leaders have to take day jobs. Is this all just volunteer? Is the Pokemon League just Cub Scouts, but for dogfighting? Anyway, Rourke tells me that if I get the badge from him, I can break rocks. Great name, by the way. The rock-type gym leader is Rourke. Stellar performance, Game Freak. Not since putting a B in front of rock have I seen such creativity. So I get back to the gym and challenge Rourke Balboa, and this is a piece of cake. Rock gyms are always simple. Oh, that's not good. Not only did they finally give the Rocket Gym a stab move, but I completely forgot that before level 30, this line has worse stats than a Magikarp. Oh, I'm in danger. Unsurprisingly, G goes down, but it's okay because I have my own Stony Boy. A Stony Boy with Fists of Rage. And then out comes a fucking Cranidos! You never see fossil Pokemon until the end of the game! Oh fuck, I'm in trouble. I'm in deep shit. I'm in so much. Oh, hey, I won.
Almost lost my cool thing.
And then comes Onix, who crunches my Geodude, and then one hits my Zubat and Starly. How did I not lose to Cranidos, but I did lose to Onix? Whatever, we healed and went right back to it. This time, G got a critical hit on the Geodude, but got one shot by a Pursuit. And Geodude punched a hole right through Cranidos' pussy and proceeded to punch a hole right through Onix. People who say Rock Smash is a bad move haven't had the joy of 4 defense routes in a row. Geodude is not a gentle lover. So I headed north onto Route 204, only realized that I needed a bike to move on, so I guess I had to go all the way back through Orber Gate. Getting back to Jubilee City, I found
I roll. Also, a casual admittance that, hey, my tactic isn't broken. Is this when does the broken happen? When does the broken happen?
Rowan and Lucas being harassed by Team Galactic, who wants his research. Rowan says it's a surprise that I already have a badge, tells Galactic they're bad people, we battle, and they run off. Now that sounds simple. I complain about these things a lot, but it sounds brief when I summarize it like that. However, it is one of the most needlessly long pieces of dialogue in the entire damn game. Like, it goes on for quite a while, and all it amounts to is, hey, Team Galactic, you're ne'er-do-wells who don't follow the rules. Also, wow, Lily, you sure are a good trainer. You should take the gym challenge that you were already doing. Also, complete the Pokedex.
We
Also, here's a
can't
case. That's all they really say.
characterize the villain because it's too fucking boring. So you don't care about story at all.
Again, still. And then you're making it a problem with the game. Hey, why don't you just hack it out of the game? Now you don't have to worry about the story that you don't like.
Real time, where I'm mashing the A button as fast as possible.
A real opinion. Get to a real opinion. Please get to a real opinion. Because this is you just being pedantic. This is not a real opinion. And it is not an opinion that matters because you already were willing to cheat once. Why don't you just cheat again? Also, that's false. As soon as it goes to here, you would keep it running and show the exact length of time it takes you to complete this battle, and then that would add on to the point of pedanticness. Instead, this is just you being annoyed that there's dialogue, and then you trying to belabor a point about the dialogue. But that's my point. It's so much time. It's so much time. Why are you playing a Western JRPG? Pokemon is a Western JRPG. Why are you playing it and then getting mad that you have to pay attention to shit?
Why are you playing an RPG in general if you are getting mad that you have to pay attention to shit?
Is this necessary? Is this really fucking necessary? They just go on for so fucking long. I can't.
Someone's beginner Pokemon, maybe they could have tightened it up, but you could also have probably installed a hack that made it faster. I'm not letting that go.
Imagine trying to read this in
I don't respect people who hack content out of the game, or hack content into the game because they believe it doesn't have enough.
Crap in real time. This isn't fucking pathologic. Why do you need pages of text to tell me the most simple goddamn things? This is why a skip cutscene feature is needed in these games. All of this would be more tolerable if I could just go.
But if you skip the cutscene the first time you see it, then you don't have context for what's happening. Then when you don't have the context for what's happening, you then don't have the ability to follow the story. And then you'll say, oh my god, the story was so ass, I had no idea what was going on. And then all of us are going to collectively slap you across the face. Clap, clap!
Yep.
I want to pound my fucking head on the desk, but that would make too much noise because the feedback, as I still don't have that boom arm. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Have a real opinion. Stop it. This is not a real opinion. Stop with the gunky bullshit. Have a real opinion.
This is what I mean when I say Pokemon story hasn't improved. They still use very one-dimensional characters all the time. They're just more verbose about it. They talk forever about nothing.
Oh, you don't read the text.
You see, the only reason why you think it's verbose is because it's not playing out as text that's being spoken by an actor. I was just playing Once Human earlier on the new season. I read faster than I listen, but I'm still listening to the audio log. Regardless of listening to the audio log, I still read faster than I listen. This is why most of the games that have this feature have gotten voice actors recently. On top of the conglomerizing of trying to bring in voice actors where they did not need them. Like, finally bringing voice actors into fucking Legend of Zelda because they needed to have one. So that they could be able to stylize the personalities of the characters. Because it was, quote, time. Me, personally, you shouldn't need to. Unfortunately, they never did do what was memed on multiple times that they would do, which is that they would give Link a voice actor, but Link's personality should exist through his size and his facial expressions and his grunts. If it works for Toon Link, it can work for normal Link, but be that as it may.
Voice actors you can enjoy in spite of that. Instead, it's like watching subtitled anime. Just a whole lot of reading the most inane, terrible bullshit and wondering why the fuck people think this is good. I made it to...
So, learn the language or shut the fuck up then. Because the problem with dubbed anime is that you insert shit that isn't there in the fucking script. Unless you're forced to stay on script. And then you get mad because, well, fuck me. I gotta have my never-ending in-jokes that were written by a writer that's on staff who's voicing 11 characters. It's not the same if I don't hear the same 10 voices from Funimation voicing all the characters in this project. And controlling the money and the payouts. And then going to conventions and talking shit about other voice actors. Because they felt comfortable until they finally got disrupted from how toxic they were. When they were seen on camera being that toxic. Technically, we on this broadcast are an hour and 16 minutes into this. We're fast forwarding through some of this. Because the middle of it on the broadcast, with stops and starts... There's probably like maybe another 3 episodes, to be honest. Probably another 3 episodes, chat.
To Floroma Town and then ran right past Floroma Town to continue on to the next motherfucker. Alright, I went back to the power plant, but I need the key, which is in the flower patch. Thanks, random grunt, for being terrible at your job. Back into the town we go. In the flower garden, I found 2 more grunts harassing this old man, and after destroying them completely and utterly, I got the key to a power plant. This is definitely something you should give to a 12-year-old girl. Inside the power plant, I found Galactic Commander Mars. No, seriously, what's your real name? This is Team Galactic. That is not your real name. Whatever, Mars only has 2 Pokemon. This is a piece of... Whatever, it's common knowledge that if you throw a rock at a bat, it'll stop moving. Next is a cat, something that 12-year-old me also had experience of throwing rocks at. Unfortunately, this cat has apparently been around children because she's acclimated to rocks being hurled at her skull, and I lost. I came back and earthquaked her face in, and the scientists said that they were gathering energy to create a new universe. Sir,
that joke wasn't funny, and I also don't believe you.
We're fucking with you. They're insane. Don't take the right-wing death cults at their word. They're not going to make a new universe with 2 windmills.
Gen 4. Still inserting cringe political jargon and jokes where they don't belong. Timestamp 1:35:51.
Outside, I run into Looker, who keeps up the stellar reputation of the police by being fucking useless and arriving 20 minutes too late. He thanks me for doing his job for him and runs off for goals I'm not entirely certain of, but given historical precedent.
I'm just gonna copy that again and now insert police insults. Anti-cop jargon jokes where they don't belong. Just can't help themselves. Just can't help themselves. Just can't help themselves.
Nope. Are you shocked? Because I'm not.
No, I'm annoyed. It always takes longer to clean up a mess than it does to make it, chat. Remember that. Messes into miracles. 18 years later.
I wouldn't want to live in Necrine City right now. Anyway, the good part is that those damn grunts aren't blocking the bridge anymore, and I can move on. And I have to say, Sinnoh's fucking ugly. The colors are muted, half the roots are covered in mud, the entire game looks washed out and gray, and even the forest looked damp and depressing. Everything about Sinnoh is just gross and miserable. Even the music. Twin Link sounds like a theme to Coronation Street.
And I don't know. The examples that I'm being shown.
Anyway, the good part is that those damn grunts aren't blocking the bridge anymore, and I can move on. And I have to say, Sinnoh's fucking ugly. The colors are muted, half the roots are...
It looks like this is taking place at night, no?
Yeah.
So, like, lighting?
Covered in mud, the entire game looks washed out and gray.
You're in a cloud barrier. In a forest. They had the same effect on the fucking mystery forest in Link to the Past.
It hurts, don't it?
And even the forest looked damp and depressing. Everything about Sinnoh was just gross and miserable.
I adjusted the colors just a little bit, and it looks so much better.
Fucking ugly. The colors are muted, half the roots are covered in mud, the entire game looks washed out and gray, and even the forest looked damp and depressing. Everything about Sinnoh is just gross and miserable. Even the music. Twin Leaf sounds like a theme of Coronation Street, a musical score that...
I mean, I couldn't even see that because you started that clip at the beginning of you going into a battle, so I can't see the fucking thing that you're talking about.
is determined to evoke suicidal urges. I don't care for the music is what I'm getting at. If it's not putting me to sleep, it's filling me with an intense existential dread. Like...
So, you don't like the OST. But, you see, this is much different than the opinion you had before, where you were praising 2 songs in the OST, and then you were complaining about them inside of their remakes, which, by the way, shouldn't exist to you because you didn't put them on your fucking list. They are meant to evoke certain emotions and feelings. If you don't like them, don't listen to them. You're not being forced to listen to them except but in the game. You're not being forced to listen to the OST all the time after you've played the game. You're not being forced to do that. Now, I can remember that Bruno Mars Pokemon mashup. Bruno Mars Pokemon mashup. Because if I'm thinking of what it is, yes, Pokemon GSC is what I like. Gold, Silver, Crystal National Park, which in and of itself is probably one of the best mashups I've ever heard in music, but also one of the better ones in general. Pokemon National Park theme. Right, Heart and Gold Silver version, and then the Silver Gold Crystal version. As a small segue, chat, let's listen to what a proper music track sounds like, and then compare and contrast them versus what is there. Here, if I can put it, there we go. Here is the original National Park theme. And of course, this was based on the chiptune set for a generation that was on a fourth generation handheld console. Here is the updated track in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. All they did was rearrange the orchestration, add additional music notes, and then lighten the music tone because they had access to technology they didn't in the past. And then, of course, in theme with what I was looking for, the Bruno Mars mashup.
That's good shit.
Made by... I'm not trying to get fucking strict. But this is from this one is from Botanical Sage, and this is part of their SoundCloud series. 2.3 million views. He's made this one free commons. But probably some of the best, one of the best, if not the best, outside of Gooseworks herself, mashers of music that exists on YouTube, that has been doing the game since forever. Good music doesn't somehow become ruined because you personally don't like it. If you don't like the track, you don't like the track. It doesn't remove the energy, the essence, or the spirit of what it's supposed to do. That's why they're called spiritual successors. But these are improvements upon what already existed. I'm certain that you're playing a version of the game that does not have graphical fidelity updates. Because I'm certain they probably exist in the versions that you didn't cover. So, on top of adding hacks to the game to make it the quintessential experience that you imagine or that you want for yourself with your particular Pokemon experience, why not just hack the visuals so that they look better to you? It still behooves to be said. Go ahead.
That would just be too hard, Carl.
Hey, it wasn't too hard to hack the fucking... It wasn't too hard to fucking hack the game to allow yourself to have the rolls at the beginning, and it wasn't too hard for you to hack the fucking speed at which the game renders at so that you don't have to worry about the black bar tearing line visuals. So it's easy enough for you to do here. Shit, why not just alter the entire fucking game itself and remove the original OST and insert some of that silly frou-frou shit that you fucking like? Real talk, what the fuck are we talking about here? Your complaints don't matter. Heathens. Fucking heathens. Heathens. Fucking heathens.
Fucking tourists.
Like, I'm 30. Why am I marathoning the Pokemon games? What am I doing with my life? What have I amounted to? I spent my entire 20s grinding out videos for the internet to pay my rent. What is this hell I have sealed myself in? Why am I pissing away what little time I have on this planet seeking coins to trade for... Oh, hey, the exit. So in Eternity City,
You don't have a family, you don't raise a child, you have nothing to mold about. Shut the fuck up. You don't live for anything meaningful. Shut the fuck up. You don't have anything meaningful in your life that you work towards except for the validation of others. And you can't even get that because nobody fucking likes you because you're pedantic as shit. Shut the fuck up. I don't even think your partner likes you. Shut the fuck up.
And you allegedly like kids.
And you allegedly like kids.
I ran into Chat again, who drags me to the statue of one of the mascot Pokemon, where Cyrus is monologuing about creating a new universe, and then immediately fucks off. Good talk, Cyrus. I head to the Eternity City gym, and Gardenia's outside to tell me that I have to fight the gym trainers first. What? I get it. Pokemon games from Gen 4 onward hold your hand like a creepy uncle with a My Little Pony collection, but this is the second gym. This isn't the first gym.
We know how much you like My Little Pony, don't you?
Oh! I almost forgot.
How this works already. In this particular game, too. This only puts more confusion on the fact that Rowan is surprised that I have a gym badge already. Did I sequence break? I had to look it up. I genuinely thought I broke a sequence here or something. It turns out I didn't. The game's just like this. In fact, this is a problem the games have had for quite some time. Here's an example. After finishing the gym and getting ready to move on, I'm stopped by Cynthia, who offers me an egg. Now, at first, I legit thought this egg contained a Riolu. My memory of this game isn't very good. This is the first time I played it in 15 years. So naturally, since Lucario is one of my least favorite Pokemon, I chose no. And then Cynthia refuses to let me leave until I initiate dialogue with her again to accept the egg. I finally accepted it and tried to leave again, only for a lady blocking the way to refuse to let me through until I have Explorer's Kit, which is used to access the optional underground area. And since I'm playing on an emulator, it's virtually useless and is actually useless on actual hardware in 2022. And the feature wasn't that great in the game anyway. But I can't move on until I get this one key item. A cyclist blocking another exit out of the city did the same thing. Have I not made it clear that I want to move on? When I relented and went to get it, the Explorer Kit man wanted to give me a tutorial for the underground. I was given another yes or no choice and picked no, obviously. And you know what happened? He actually took no for an answer. Sure, he was guilt trippy and sad about my refusal, saying that he's very lonely, which is actually the only time in this game the dialogue has ever been charming. But I was allowed to leave without going through the tutorial. What a novel concept. Out of any single thing Game Freak does poorly with the Pokemon games, it's this failure to take no for an answer from the player that...
Because, and this is the reason why you're not getting this, the thing that you're denying is a quest flag, you fucking retard! Carl, what's your quest flag? Quest flags are required events, triggers, and dialogues that tell the game where you are in it. Without the quest flags, the person who's not supposed to be at the final boss can accidentally do something like wrong warp and end up at the final boss, and then not have the things that are necessary to kill the final boss. Technically, most examples of this, like a 80% speedrun of Ocarina of Time, doesn't require you to have those things, because you just need to get through the end of the game and get outside to the castle fall, and then you fight Ganon as intended, normally, usual, because you only really need, and the game will give you the Master Sword because it assumes that you got there, because in order to get to Ganon's castle, for example, you should have already gotten Master Sword. In most games, in order for you to be able to defeat Ganon, you need to have the Arrows of Light, and the game will assume that you have them if they don't make Zelda do something with them in the background herself. In Pokemon, the form of which this takes is a quest flag. Cynthia handing you the egg is a quest flag. Them handing you the Explorer's Kit is a quest flag. Dialogue is dialogue. It's still a quest flag, by the way. But dialogue is dialogue. But these are functions that the game has, even if they don't properly function anymore on emulation software. Which, by the way, your series should be taken down by Nintendo off that alone, because you admitted you were playing on emulator. I'm petty. Regardless, you don't understand how computing works. Brain dead opinions, still, but okay.
that's the most glaring. Frankly, I don't understand why they put so many of these meaningless yes or no questions in the game at all. Like, I understand why tutorials aren't optional.
West flags. And also, if you understand why they're necessary, why are you complaining about them? Because I want to complain about them. Okay, shut the fuck up then.
There's a boomer who has nothing but contempt for children. What I don't understand is why there are so many instances in the series where the game asks you if you want to do something and then ignores you if you say no. Time had to be dedicated to making a decision and writing the tween refusal dialogue. So the question is, why? This is further compounded by the fact that the Explorer's Kit Man and the man who offers to show you the contest hall in Hearthstone City both actually take no for an answer. So pick a lane. Either I can't say no, in which case stop asking, or I can say no, in which case listen when I do. Children get enough of adults railroading them and disrespecting their wishes in real life. They don't need it in their video games. And yet Pokemon, the most
children's game. Sometimes players make mistakes, and even if players didn't make mistakes, giving everybody a uniform experience is going to be better for it if what you're trying to do is to tell a story. Granted, for most people, Pokemon is one part exploration, one part story, and one part the actual game mechanic of leveling your mons. But you're still on a railroad being shown a story. If they don't standardize the experience, and then in the few places where you can legitimately take a deviation, or avoid a tutorial for something you may not need that is superfluous, if they did this in every single bit of game design, people like you would still not actually understand what a real criticism is. Because these are not criticisms. These are you complaining about how the game was designed. At which point, take your ass out of Pokemon. Or, again, mod it out of the game. Nothing's stopping you from modding in a fucking a quick load. Nothing's stopping you from doing that. But if you admit that you do that, we're not going to respect your opinion anyways. I don't respect it to begin with anyways. She doesn't respect it to begin with anyways. But people looking at you and then using your review as a resource of information should be laughed out of the room. And I'm pretty sure they still are. If they haven't been already. In which case we can change those numbers and get them higher.
popular kids game of all time insists on being a nagging parent the entire way through. After beating the gym and getting cut, I had to go into the Galactic headquarters. Why? I have no idea. I'm not paying attention to the dialogue at this point. I just had to go in there and beat up Sailor Jupiter. I crush her, send it
And a perfect case example of why you should know what the fuck you're talking about, so you can at least explain what's happening in the story.
back to hell with the rest of the Sailor Scouts and get this guy's club back. Or Bunny Ring. Which one's yours again? I don't actually care. I make it to Hearthstone City. The gym's closed because the leader is at the contest. Oh no. Oh, please don't force me to do a contest. On the way there, my egg hatched into a Togepi. Oh, it was a Togepi. God, so fucking stupid. I get in the contest hall and find my mother there talking to the woman I let out of the forest. Yeah, sorry about that existential
You
crisis.
expected
Give you some
something
glitter.
else?
Thanks, I'm never getting this off my purse now.
Really?
My mom gives me a dress. Not really a dress kind of girl.
They thought it had a different kind of Pokemon in it.
Mercifully painless. I feel like I'm about to be blasted in the face with a rake. Fantina's gym is no gym that plays with
Because they didn't like Lucario.
light and visibility to find the exit to the room and avoid the trainers. Going forward, I'm only going to highlight the unique gym puzzles, and this is one that's actually pretty interesting. Utilizing darkness in a way that's more clever than Brawly's gym ever was, and a more creative use of navigation than Morty's gym. Fantina herself is also reasonably difficult. By this gen, I was kind of used to ghost Pokemon also being poison type as well, so it caught me off guard when I remembered, oh crap, I can't just curly on my way through this one, and I ended up losing twice. And you know what? I respected the game for that. But during my grinding, my Golbat evolved into Crobat, and because Ghost is weak to dark, for some inexplicable reason, Crobat was able to just straight sweep through the entire gym on the third go. Aw, you good boy. Heading west to Route 209, I immediately run into fucking Chat. Excuse me, I need to bash this annoying little piss ant over the head and neck.
More casual hatred of your audience.
I came across a tower which turned out to be a graveyard. On the third floor, it got a lot of fog, which reduces accuracy by 40%. But thankfully, Geno's Magic Leaf, which never misses. There's a lot of places in this game that have fog, which means if you carry moves that have guaranteed accuracy, like Magic Leaf or Shockwave, it means you can turn the fog from a Kiss Curse weather effect into just a bonus. Defog is an option and is an HM in this game, but personally, I prefer having 40% extra evasion as a baseline. As I enter Salacion Town, who should I run into but the living embodiment of every nightmare I've ever had? He brags about having seals, but I forgot to put them on. Ha! Dumbass. In Veilstone City, I headed to the gym to see Lucas out front. He mentioned something about the Pokedex. I don't remember, I wasn't paying attention. And then Crasher Wake comes out of the gym and introduces himself before running off. Lucas wishes me good luck, and I head in. Veilstone Gym is an actual gym. What the fuck? I mean, it makes sense. It's a fighting type gym, but it's in serious disrepair. Holy shit. Puzzle here is basically a block pushing puzzle using heavy bags to clear obstacles and open pathways. It's a little intricate. You have to double back a few times to get through the entire thing. I like this one. It's pretty neat. As mainline Pokemon are fighting type G's the go-to here. I get off one Calm Mind and then proceed to sweep both Meditite and Macho. Then out comes Lucario, who takes a few more hits to get down, but he still ultimately goes down. Then I run into Lucas, who claims Galactic took his Pokedex and asks if I want to help him beat them up. Assault under dubious circumstances? Count me in. After Gene mugs them and steals their wallets, we get Lucas' Pokedex back. Then Looker shows up and says he heard about children feuding with Team Galactic. He then deputizes me to perform an illegal search at Team Galactic's warehouse. Do you even have a warrant? Are you allowed to just force a child to help you? Do you even care about what you're allowed to do? Look at me trying to reason with a cop. Well, there's a sealed door inside, so we're breaking and entering can only go so far. Looks like we have to part ways.
Or
I'd say it's
cop.
but frankly, your presence makes my skin crawl. If the game allowed me to, I'd have Gene microwave your brain. Arriving in Pastoria City, I go right for the gym, only to be interrupted by Chat, who demanded another battle. But Gene learned second, so the Pokemon felt like dominoes.
One of the best
Pastoria,
characters in the game. Like, what?
It's like getting
Stop backing on my boy.
it's like getting younger at the characters in Ace Attorney.
I see you again. His specialty is water Pokemon, and unfortunately for him, G has recently learned Shockwave. He nearly one-shots Gyarados, and that's without even using Calm Mind. Then his Floatzel comes out with a crunch. Okay, was sincerely not expecting that. Luckily, my Crobat took him. Then I confused his Quagsire and finished it off with Togetic. Togetic was a good choice in Gen 2. I decided to go with it again in Gen 4. Then we get outside, and Crasher Wake says he overheard Team Galactic talking about a bomb. A bomb. You're just committing regular terrorism at this point. This is Pokemon. You should at least be using an electro with explosion. You're not fitting the theme Galactic. We get to the entrance of the Great Marsh, and the bomb explodes. Holy shit, they actually did it. Then a grunt came out and confessed to terrorism and ran off. Crasher Wake runs into an active explosion. Honestly, I respect the hell out of him for it. I was deputized to chase after someone who just set off a bomb. I chased him around a mountain and through a resort before finally cornering him on the road, and he sends out a single Croagunk. Croagunk are 4 times weak to Psychic. So I crush him, and he just walks off, and I just let him, apparently. Kind of beats the purpose of chasing after him, but whatever, Game Freak, just want to make sure I get my cardio, huh? Then Cynthia gives me some medicine to get rid of a group of Psyduck blocking Route 210, which remains the most ridiculous roadblock the game has implemented. She then asks me to deliver a charm to her grandmother. Ma'am, I'm not a free courier service. Just go spend time with your grandmother. Stop avoiding your family. So I find the Psyduck and use the medicine to clear their headache. Alright, now shoot. Go on, find some frozen piece of steel. As I progress further through the route, the fog gets really thick. As I mentioned before, I opted not to get defog because G and Togetic have moves with guaranteed accuracy, meaning that I get to benefit from the 40% accuracy loss from fog. This makes fog a benefit rather than a hindrance, and it means I don't have to waste move slots on an HM with only one real application. Not that I dislike HMs. Personally, I love the idea of field moves. It's more fun using my Pokemon to clear obstacles than items or special ride Pokemon. And managing HMs has never really been an issue for me because I know the kind of move spread I need. HMs are a bugbear in the community. I guess it's part of the problem of people thinking they need full type coverage on every Pokemon, but honestly, I never really had that problem. Just on Gardevoir alone, I need only 3 move slots, Psychic or Psyshock depending on the gen, a non-Psychic side damaging move, and Calm Mind. Everything else is optional after that. And that's the approach I take with the rest of my Pokemon, so working in a few HMs isn't a problem. Besides, the fact that I have 24 move slots and have to manage them between moves for battle and moves for the field is an interesting bit of resource management. And I think Pokemon removing it just because some Poketubers complained that they couldn't be 100% optimized in this children's game was a bad move.
You
But now
literally
you want to
complained.
acknowledge the children's game. Now you want to acknowledge it.
You literally complained about not having coverages for your weaknesses. And on this team, which might as well just have a couple of rotations, not accounting for the Guardavire, is literally the exact same problem again. And yes, that's part of the nature of having them. Sometimes, some Pokemon are going to have to carry the moves necessary for exploration. It's part of the game. Even then, that's not a fucking problem, dude. That's not a problem of the game. That's a part of the game. And you keep saying some people. Give me a name! Name a content creator! Name a content creator! Give me a name!
Name names, bitch.
Field is an interesting bit of resource management. And I think Pokemon removing it just because some Poketubers complained that they couldn't be 100% optimized in this children's game was a bad move. As I mentioned before, I think my generation's refusal to think and adapt to roadblocks is part of it.
But yeah,
Up.
here's the thing though. In this children game, where they complain about optimizing, they didn't cheat, and you cheated. Shut up. You have to cheat in a child's game?
Why the Pokemon games turned into such a boring snowfest. We did this to ourselves, honest. Arriving in Celestic Town, a Galactic
No, you did it to yourself.
Runs is blocking the entrance to a shrine, so I bully him and make him leave. Inside is a mural of the 3 lake spirits, and Cyrus bursts in and says he wants to put an end to pointless strife and conflict in the world. What's pointless strife and conflict? This is a socialist paradise. What are you talking about? You're the only one causing any conflict. You set off a bomb for crying out loud. You know, Archie and Maxie were like charmingly stupid, but you're just completely out of your mind. I beat the crap out of them, but the Elder already gave him all the information he needed, so he took off to go capture the lake spirits. I'm gonna have to go after him, aren't I? So I head to Cannon Lake City, where I'm immediately beset upon by Chat, who demands yet another battle. I'm really starting to get sick of this kid, you know? After that, I headed to the gym. It's a steel type gym, whose puzzle is based entirely around guessing which elevator lets you progress. I'm guessing the dev who designed the Hearth Home City gym was homesick that day, and the job of making this gym fell to the guy who writes the dialogue. Lear is Byron, who's apparently Rourke's father. You know, there's a joke in here about steel being a more refined rock. Anyway, his Magneton and Steelix went down with 1 flamethrower each from Houndoom. Oh, you good girl. Oh, you good girl. Aspeon took a little more teamwork from Lopunny, Houndoom, Crobat, and G to take down, but we got there in the end. Once I get outside, I'm harassed by Chat again, demanding I come to the library. I swear, if you demand another battle, I'm going to stab you. So I join Chat and goes around the library, where Rowan is
Don't talk to it. Fuck off. Leave my Houndoom alone.
giving us a lecture on Pokemon evolution. He decides we should split up to go to the 3 lakes, and right on cue, there's another explosion. We turn to the news to hear Team Galactic has set off a bomb at one of the lakes. Naturally, since it's an active site of an attack, we decide not to go to the lakes and wait for the situation to be all clear before. So I arrive at Lake Valor to find that it's been drained by Team Galactic bomb, and there are Magikarp flopping around, and they say they're heading to Lake Verity next. Well, that's fine. Lucas is already on his way there, so I arrive at Lake Verity to find that Lucas is being bullied by Galactic members, so I have to do fucking everything around here apparently. Alright, that's 2 out of 3 lakes cleared. Where's the third? It's on top of a mountain, Lily. Fuck. The route to Snow Point City leads through Mount Coronet and up a snowy mountain path filled with trainers and environment hazards. It's not bad, it's the first snowy environment in these games, but they just had to go and mess up the ambience by adding deep snow to impede you every possible point of the journey. And it's crawling with trainers who keep getting crits way more often than they should be. I fucking swear. It's worth pointing out that in Platinum, the female...
And yet another example, this time in Gen 5. We should be on Gen 5 now, yes. They're starting to blend together. Yeah, they're starting to blend together.
And it's gonna get bad. Anybody who's a fan of Gen 5 is gonna get real fucking mad now.
Gen 5. Where was this complaint? Where was it? Yes. C.16. Now with complaints about road hazards.
Female character model is wearing a winter coat but no pants, and I'm walking through waist-high snow in a blizzard. So that was certainly a decision we made.
I got frostbite on my... Somewhere you really don't want to get frostbite.
I found a house in the middle of the blizzard where a guy is complaining that he's trapped here because he dropped his HM for rock climb. Luckily, I found it just ahead. When I went back to return it, however, he said I could just keep it. Sir, don't you need this to get out of the snow? What? Nah, forget about it.
Also, just casual. We all understood it, and I thought I should probably pass by it, but children's game, adult jokes, frostbite on the coochie.
If he wants to have her cake, eat it too.
This girl can't eat cake. Carl, don't air quote. No, Carl, no. That's a transphobia, Carl.
Got it. I reached the mouth of the lake,
Massive
and Chat is at the top mocking
transphobia.
me for being slow and being unable to climb rocks, and then rushes off to go take on Galactic alone. Wait, Chat, no, don't, you're a complete fuck up at everything you do. Fine, I gotta go get my rock climbing license, I guess. Fucking Vogon, seriously. Snow Point City Gym is just like the Mahogany Town Gym, where you have to slide into obstacles and navigate your way to the leader. It's alright, Discourage is running back to the Pokemon Center, so it's okay by me. Candace starts with a Sneasel, who dies to a single flamethrower. Then Piloswine, who proved to be a lot more hardy than I thought he'd be, and knocked out 3 of my Pokemon before G finally put him in the dirt. I sent G back out against Frostlass, and when she started spamming double team, I was like, alright, fine, let me spam Calm Mind, make myself a beast and a tank, and then I'll just sit here praying for a lucky hit. Once I got there, I started trying to hit with Psychic, but it wasn't going well. But then something occurred to me. Wait a minute, I have Shockwave, which never misses, and hits for neutral damage. And I have like 5 special attack boosts. What the fuck am I doing? One Shockwave, she went down, and one Psychic took out a Bomb Snow. Can't believe that slipped my mind, honestly. I just got done talking about how the fog wasn't a problem, and then I forget about why it wasn't a problem when I needed it the most. I swear something's wrong with me.
You not understanding how to play the video games. It's okay. We all know. We fully understand it at this point. You listing it out verbally means that you understand you're a fuck up. I personally would then ask, why did you choose to leave that in the draft? But, hey, your video, you embarrass yourself how you want to.
Once I had the badge, I can go after Chat, who it turned out got beaten like the little baby bitch he is. Hey, maybe next time you'll throw down a rope. Like, this guy taunts you for not being able to climb rocks, necessitating a detour, and now he's completely failed at what he came here to do. Like, honestly, Chat, you deserve this. At the Galactic HQ, I found one of the grunts I defeated earlier in the game. I bet you don't remember me. You're all white people with the same bowl cut. Of course I don't remember you. Anyway, this grunt is grounded for losing, and he throws a tantrum, mentions the storage key, and then runs off. Then Looker, oh god damn it. Looker shows up and says he has a key, and we can go attack the warehouse. Okay, if you shoot anyone, I'm gonna have G powderize your bones. So we break in without a warrant and look around, and I find the key to the Galactic base. Great, I can use this to raid the Galactic HQ. What are you looking at me like that for? I'm not a cop, not unethical.
You complain about the terrorists. Then you casually say, if he shoots the terrorists, you'll turn his bones to dust.
Yep. It's great, isn't it?
Defund the Poke Police. Put Officer Jenny out of a job.
No, for me to go rampaging around like a lunatic.
I'm sitting on the floor now.
Cyrus is giving speech to his grunts. Is this a cult? Feels like a cult. But wait, that doesn't work because cult leaders have to be the kind of charismatic person that dumb sheep want to follow in the first place. And Cyrus has no personality, no motivations. We don't even know what he's doing. Like the performance? No, shut the fuck up, Looker. So I corner Cyrus in his brooding room. He confesses that Team Galactic are just pawns. You yourself must know that they are uniformly useless. Well, I mean, yeah, they are the bottom 10% of our graduating class. The problem is you think you're any more useful than they are. You want to create a new world only for yourself. How far have you shoved your head up your ass, Xehanort? He then challenges me to a fight. I win match, and he gives me a free Master Ball and runs off to Mount Coronet. So we're chasing Galactic through Mount Coronet, which is something of a maze that at the very least the game lets you handle. Oh, come on, Looker! As you're nearing the last door before Spear Pillar, you come across this cracked piece of stone in front of a cave. Looker has to walk you through the basics of the fact that Team Galactic probably dug into a wall. Observe, if you will, that hole. There was once a cave painting that had blocked the way to the summit, but the wall, it is no longer there. It lies in pieces. Do you see? Ever since the 3 Pokemon of the lake have been captured, something terrible has happened. But what exactly? I do not know. There is but one cause. Team Galactic Cyrus. And now we are all caught up. Oh, really, Looker? Really? I'm not sure my tiny brain could have figured that one out. Oh, there's some soundtrack here in front of the tunnel. Maybe Team Galactic went that way. Oh,
Kids game. Some kids are not good at Sherlockian or Holmesian or Gregarian, let alone Hegelian deduction, let alone deduction and induction. They're gonna tell the kids the likely points because they probably don't get it, and that's okay. You getting mad about it is fucking retarded.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure. Thank God you were here to help, you useless fucking cop. In case you haven't noticed, there's a ton more dialogue in this game. Cyrus alone has more than double the dialogue than Archie and Maxie did in their respective games, but it's also stilted and devoid of any real creativity. He's an evil guy. He does evil things evilly. Credit where it's due, Maxie and Archie at least had the charm of the fact that they thought they were going to better the world, but they're like fucking idiots. They were almost charmingly stupid in that regard. Coupled with the fact that you just don't run into them that often, like maybe less than 6 times before the finale, and after that they're like, oh, hang on, I think we might be stupid. And that's coupled by the intense weather that affects the entire map along with the tense music that accompanies it. They fucked up massively, and if we don't fix it, we're screwed. And that's more compelling than Cyrus's nihilism. Aqua and Magma are like, if we don't stop these 2 idiots, they're gonna kill us all. They're the only non-Rocket villain teams that work. As much as people complain about Team Rocket being evil for the sake of evil, I mean, that was never actually true. Team Rocket is a gang. They want to exploit Pokemon for financial gain. Instantly, that is a more real antagonist than Cyrus with his delusions of grandeur. People who want easy and quick money, or if we're being honest, are desperate because of late-stage capitalism, will turn to crime. People who think society has become so degenerate it needs a cleansing go on YouTube and rant about SJWs and woke scolds. A more real version of Cyrus would be on TV, blaming all society's problems on, I don't know, the Jirachians? No, the Muse. People this nihilistic and delusional just don't have the drive or charisma to run a cult and convince people to bomb a city. He's kind of like the jailer. He has the charisma of a pile of wet sand, and yet we're expected to believe he's manipulated and gaslit people much smarter and more charismatic than him. Oh, he's a charismatic leader. Bitch, no he isn't. He's an ugly-ass miserable nihilist sulking because the world has some vague wrongness to it. And people say he's the best villain in the series. Like, what is this? The fucking sequel trilogy? What are y'all salivating over? At least Thanos had the resource shortage to pretend to care about and make his megalomaniacal narcissism almost pitiful and make us want to...
Ignoring the fact that the only way that you understand anything is pop culture. Bad pop culture at that. Do you plan on getting anywhere in this ramble to a point? No. Cyrus is boring and evil, and I hate him. Okay. It's still the plot of the game. I'm pretty sure you don't need to take this long to get to that point, huh? Stop pulling Carl and spit it out!
Want to kick his ass. Cyrus, I just wanted to shut up. Stay in the distortion world and rot, you fucking jackass. Oh yeah, the distortion world is terrible. People complain about having to use a few HMs to explore and how Victory Road is played out, but celebrate this. This whole dungeon is a frame rate nightmare. It performs like ass, except in a few areas, and it wants you running all over Hell's Half Acre to push a few rocks and sliding platforms, and oh fuck, I am so goddamn bored. Then you have a battle with Giratina and leave. I'm so glad we shared this adventure, Cynthia. Now please stay 95 million miles away from me. The rest of the game isn't worth talking about in too much detail. The story's over, but you still have a badge, Victory Road, the Elite Four you get through. Almost feels like a formality after all that. Like, you want to prove my worth? I was in another dimension just a few hours ago. I fought a god of antimatter. Then you get to the Elite Four. Oh my fucking god, chat. You go through the Elite Four, which is the same as it's always been. The only thing we're talking about is Cynthia, because Cynthia and her Garchomp are the most overhyped boss in the series. When I was going through the earlier gens and talking about how like Whitney wasn't the real problem, people were like, oh, wait until you see Garchomp. Wait until you get there. It'll crush your dreams and give you PTSD. So about that. thing about memed on trainers. The solution to Whitney and Cynthia is use defense, like any of it. I think Cynthia is the fault of people just not growing up. When we were kids, same type moves and maybe weaknesses were all we would do. We would spam Earthquake for days, and as we got older, we didn't stop doing that. People would take their starter into Cynthia and try and brute force it like they always do, and what a shock, it doesn't work, because when your opponent has this, it's pretty much designed so that you can't just blitz through it. Her first Pokemon is one without any weaknesses, guys, come on, and her ace is fast and hits like a semi-truck. The counter to a sweeper is bulk. So I came in with Reflect and set it up on Milotic, and then...
So, the thing that you've been bitching about the entire time, you decided to listen to? Meaning all of your complaints earlier and every other generation that you bitched about it were null and void? Damn, imagine making yourself irrelevant that quickly, just so that you could be able to belabor a point and act like you were smart. You're so stupid.
Garchomp couldn't touch me. That's the thing about Garchomp. If it doesn't one-hit kill you, it's dead. Flat out dead. Its defenses are not that great, and combined its middling special defense with a Pokemon with high special attack, it's just dead. These trainers aren't even asking much of you. You can sweep Cynthia with Reflect and like 1 or 2 Calm Minds if you're not confident. Spiritomb was a bigger threat than Garchomp because it was immune to both Psychic and Focus Blast, which were the only attacking moves G had. The rest felt like dominoes because just a little bit of setup pushes the damn game over. I saw people planning for BDSP like, okay, I'll need a Weavile to outspeed and quad weakness it. And by the way, in the remakes, Garchomp has the Ice Nullifying Berry, so good luck with that. But it's so much easier than that. Reflect and literally any special attack boost will do. Hell, just rock up with a fucking Focus Sash or something. There's so many ways around it that turns this fight into mulch, but it requires remembering that neutral damage exists. I've seen so many Poketubers discount Pokemon in the early gens because they don't have stab moves. Need I remind you, I swept to
So, this would be the only name they've ever provided. Can you tell me who this Pokemon YouTuber is? Do you know?
That is M&J TV, and he is awesome, and she can fuck off. Fuck right off. Just fuck right off.
So why is she pulling him out in this instance?
Go back. What did she talk about? Specifically.
By the way, in the remakes, Garchomp has the Ice Nullifying Berry, so good luck with that. But it's so
this
much
right
easier.
here.
Reflect and literally any special attack boost will do. Hell, just rock up with a fucking Focus Sash or something. There's so many ways around it that turns this fight into mulch, but it requires remembering that neutral damage exists. I've seen so many Poketubers discount Pokemon in the early gens because they don't have stab moves. Need I remind you, I swept 2 of the Kanto Elite 4 with the weakest fully evolved Pokemon in the game.
Because he is he does a lot of Nuzlocke gameplay, and he's extremely popular. Like, he's got more than 1 million subs. And she's kind of dumb because he does talk about using, like, support moves. So I don't know what she's getting at.
I guess it's an unbased attack, but an unbased attack that has no true opinion about it. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked whatsoever.
You shouldn't be.
Because I'm pretty sure his criticisms in the context of a Nuzlocke makes it clear it's like, maybe he didn't have his dream team when he went into the Elite Four. Huh. Never occurs. And even then, for the casual players that are doing it, I'm certain they will figure out something. I'm pretty sure they didn't put all their faith into that. And even if they did, for every single one that you legitimately helped with your advice, air quote, advice, there's probably 100 that are rolling their eyes at you.
Generation 4 isn't terrible, but it's not as good as Generation 3. The issues that have been creeping in since Crystal have metastasized into a game that does not believe you can go 5 seconds without being supervised. It has fully gotten away from what makes Pokemon fun, the adventure. Instead, you're being forced onto a path by a story, and I wouldn't object to that if the story was good, or at the very least, sparse. But all that's really changed is the sheer amount of dialogue. Characters talk way too much, and they say way too little. The dialogue is in desperate need of an editor, or someone who knows what the hell they're doing. And the thing is, the dialogue is pretty much the only problem with these games from this point onward. Like, the gameplay is competently made, and you can fix the performance issues easily, but there's no fixing the dialogue without tediously going through every text box and manually editing, which takes time and skill a lot of people don't have. And all the good post-game features, and Gen 4 and 5 have a very robust post-game, is all held hostage by the story. You have to endure this part, and you shouldn't have to. The main game shouldn't have to be this burden you have to endure to get to the things that are fun. Oh, here we go. Generation 5 is definitely controversial. Just
one more time.
Get to the things that are fun. Endure this part, and you shouldn't have to. The main game shouldn't have to be this burden you have to...
24. The main game, the game period, shouldn't be a bore that you have to endure. I mean, you can start by playing the fucking video game to begin with, but...
endure to get to the things that are fun. Oh, here we go. Generation 5 is the definition of controversial. To some people, it's where Pokemon peaked with imaginative designs, a beautiful region, and a story that took Pokemon in a deeper and more mature direction than ever before. To others, it's the worst generation to ever exist with mediocre Pokemon, forced linearity, and a mediocre story with pretensions toward being something deep while having all the emotional maturity of a conservative Twitter ghoul. Full bias up front, I am very much in the latter category, so if you want to look down at the chapters and skip ahead to Generation 6, no one to blame you. First things first, they removed the options from the main menu. The main menu and the start menu had the same options where you could change the battle style, the text speed, what have you. But for whatever reason, it's not here, meaning that you can't change the text speed to fast from the get-go. I don't understand why they did this except to purposely annoy me. What next, Game Freak? You can remove set mode? So I phase into existence in my bedroom where Charon is standing beside me. Why did I black out? Charon, why are you here? What have you done? He says he's heard from Professor Juniper that we can have a Pokemon. Oh, really, Charon? I'm not sure my tiny brain could figure that one out. You know, what with a rap gift on the table? I mean, it could have been anything. Bianca Rise, we get to pick our Pokemon between a Snivy, a Tepig, and a Ralts. Well, goodness, how on earth did that get there? Guess I better take it. Then Charon and Bianca take the other 2 starters and are determined to have a battle indoors. I don't know, Bianca, this seems dangerous. Oh.
So you cheated again! Again! So your opinion about 4 is ruined because you cheated. And your opinion about 5 is going to be ruined because you fucking cheated. Again!
Yep.
$25. Literally cannot stop cheating.
It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
See, I told you. Look what you done to my room. They just run up. Excuse me, I'm not cleaning this up. Get back here. Oh, I hate these two. My mother gives me my watch phone because this was a simpler time when stuff like that existed. And then I go outside and a flock of pedo fly away. Hope you like that effect. It's literally never appearing again. Whatever, I'm going for an agonizingly slow walk out. Oh, there will be no escape from this torment. You know, I was on the fence whether Sinnoh or Mauville was the worst games. I'm not on the fence so much anymore. Sharon wants me to thank Professor Juniper before I leave. But when I go to Juniper's, he tells me to go get Bianca. Make up your mind, dude. I find Bianca in her house being told by her father that she can't go on an adventure with Pokemon, which is an apt metaphor for how the game treats you. We go thank Juniper, she over-explains Pokedex and then gives it to us and asks us to meet her at Accumula Town. Lily, it's this way. Oh, thanks, Bianca. I wasn't sure. Given it's the only way out of town. Let's take our first steps onto Route 1 together. 1, 2... I'm so glad we shared in this unforgettable experience together. Juniper forces us to listen to a lesson on catching Pokemon, and then Sharon and Bianca challenged me to a Pokemon catching contest. A contest I completely ignored. Upon arriving in Accumula Town, Professor Juniper decided it was imperative to give me a full guided tour of the Pokemon Center. Not just that, but the shop and the PC as well. Bianca even asks about someone's PC. You know, the thing nobody ever needed explaining to them. Once I'm free of Juniper's incessant nagging, Sharon demands I see the rally for the local KKK. Oh wait, no, it's just an animal rights group. Team Plasma is arguing that the use of Pokemon for human convenience, sports, and exploitative capitalism is a form of abuse, invoking the long-standing joke that Pokemon is a game about dogfighting. So this game makes that joke its central plot point. Finally, Pokemon is gonna have a serious examination of itself and the implications of its own ancient premise. I don't like the sound of that cough you just made, Game Freak. After gets his speech, we're approached by some prick in green hair who claims that he has a special ability to listen to Pokemon speaking that I apparently don't have.
This lady is crazy.
Then he wants to fight, and after I beat him, he rants about how Pokemon being confined to Pokeballs makes them not free. Is this why walking Pokemon was scrapped? Stepping onto Route 2, I get a call from my mother who announces she's right behind me to give me the running shoes. Well, it's about time, Mom. I've been walking at the speed of smell for the last hour. Also, a Nazi cult leader wanted to fight me. As I make it to the end of the route, Bianca runs up and wants to fight. Lady, we just fought. Do you not know how this goes? You're supposed to wait at least a couple of towns before you challenge me again. So the gym in Stratton City is blocked off. The gym leader's at the school, apparently. I didn't find him there, but I did find Sharon who wanted to fight. Naturally, I refused and left to head back to the gym. Still blocked. I went back and battled Sharon to see if that would work, and lo and behold, it did. Why even give me the choice? I chose the grass leader, and when his Lillipup started spamming workup, I just spammed double team so that when he tried to one-shot me with bite, Ross was able to just circle around him. Ditto his Pansage. After leaving, I'm immediately approached by a strange woman who wants me to find her some dream dust for an experiment involving collecting save files, and that's definitely what she wants it for. It's not for snoring. She is a completely normal scientist. It's not for snoring. Wait, is that a bed hooked up to a machine? What do you intend to do with this? I feel very unsafe. In the dream yard, I find Amuna, who is immediately beset by Team Plasma members who start kicking her and confessing that setting Pokemon free means there's nobody to stop them from using Pokemon to take over the world. Wow, way to give up the ghost in the first act, dude. Guess this is gonna kill you. After crushing them, the Moon's mommy comes by to get her baby and gives me some dream dust. I take it back to Fennel and she gives me a sea deer for multiplayer. Thanks, Fennel, this is completely worthless. Despite my attempts to break free from the shackles of a stalker, Sharon manages to corner me on the road for yet another battle. How many of these do you want? But then Bianca runs up with a little girl whose Pokemon was stolen by some muggers. Team Plasma's hiding in the cave and wants our Pokemon as well, but we defeat them.
How could we lose when we have rights on our side?
Oh no, it's one of those stories, isn't it?
It's time we show the Fire Nation that we believe in our beliefs as much as they believe in theirs.
Okay, that was a lot. Where do we start? I need to stand up for this. Number 1, the insistence of continuing the I'm going to call things what I want, despite the fact this game has political themes, but does not pick political sides, especially not any that map onto your political reality. 16. C21. No, it's 421. It's 20. C.20. Again, and never shutting up about it. That's 1. 2. As much as you don't like N, and as we're going to find out you don't like N, the still insistence of all this extra pad that you say you don't like, if you don't like it, hack it out of the game. You already hacked in another fucking Pokemon. Blase blase. It's getting old to the point that there's literally nothing to say but to sit there and dumbfound fucking apathy. I'm so far on the level of not caring. Oh god. Oh, it's so fucking much.
It gets worse.
It's so fucking much.
Sharon manages to corner me on the road for yet another battle. How many of these do you want? But then Bianca runs up with a little girl whose Pokemon was stolen by some muggers. Team Plasma's hiding in the cave and wants our Pokemon as well, but we defeat them.
How could we lose when we have right on our side?
Oh no, it's one of those stories, isn't it?
It's time to show the Fire Nation that we believe in our beliefs as much as they believe in theirs.
Here's the thing, Team Plasma's grunts are kind of completely fucking stupid, so half of them give up the ghost about the fact that Plasma isn't really an animal rights group, but the other half are still yammering on about Pokemon liberation, and if you're savvy to this stuff, you're kind of just waiting for the pretense to be dropped. I'm trying not to get too into my critique of the story too early on, but suffice to say, whatever story you think this is, it isn't.
Oh, you're not? Are you sure about that?
If anyone's played this game with a male character, is he still like that? Just for my own peace of mind, let me know. Side note, I'm hating 3D Overworld. It's an ocean of jaggy, aliased hell that just looks ugly. Character sprites pixelate like crazy for someone just 5 steps away from another character. It is butt fucking hideous. This should have never gone 3D like this. They should have stuck with the pixel art and it would have looked absolutely gorgeous. This entire time I've been playing the DS games on Melon DS with the intention of looking as accurate as possible, but I can't handle the warping and jagginess and whatnot of Gen 5 any longer, so I'm gonna switch to the OpenGL render from this point onward with the intention that this is the game's natural look on a DS, and it's fucking hideous. The DS barely handles 3D, especially when we're talking about Game Freak's programming here. So, with that said, oh, that's so much better. So with Nat Green City, we're given only one real task, and that's to go out to the gym. So I head to the gym to... Hi there! Oh, fuck no. I want to see things no one can see. Are you on drugs? Do you want to be on drugs? The ideals of Pokemon inside Pokeballs. The truth of how trainers should be. And a future where Pokemon have become perfect. That was 2 generations ago. It's all downhill from here. Right now, my friends aren't strong enough to save all Pokemon. Maybe I can't solve the equation that will change the world. So I need power. Power enough to make anyone agree with me. And then he leaves, declaring he needs a legendary Pokemon to give him power. Guy's a broken record. Anyway, after that, I went into the gym, got shown a Dragonite skeleton. Wow, that was dark. And was led back into the library to do battle with the gym leader, an archaeologist named Lenore. I pulled the same trick on her that I did in the last gym, spamming double team until I was unhittable. But then her Watchog got out a cheeky little retaliate. Then my Herdier was able to get the last hit. We're all good. We're fine. Lenore says she assumed right about me and that my fighting style was enchanting. Well, thank you. You're very sweet, Doctor. But then, oh no, Team Plasma stole the Dragonite skeleton. We have to go after them. They went into Pinwheel Forest, but don't worry, Burr's here to help. By waiting at the end of the forest while I chase them through the dense brush, getting harassed by rangers. Thanks, Burr. Here's an interesting aside. If you go to Pinwheel Forest before you have the basic badge, it's actually blocked off by Team Plasma grunts who give some of the most pitifully generic villain dialogue of all time. We are in the right. Everyone else is wrong. If you don't think the same way we think, we'll use all our power to eliminate you. I'm sorry, nobody talks like this. Even people who are so unbelievably narcissistic that they can't handle being disagreed with won't just say that out loud. But it is a very common tactic to reduce these things down to this cartoonish, even by cartoon standards, caricature if you can't contend with their real beliefs. Or, more accurately, you don't want to. And speaking for myself, this style...
Kids game. This was not made by the alt-right of the people who believe in Fash Wave. It is a kids game. You are seeing Nazis in pinwheels and windmills over a kids game. Fucking eye roll. Fucking eye roll. 17 is going to be a copy-paste of 16, because it continues to not have a fucking point.
Dialogue isn't a comment on Team Plasma, it's a comment on Jinichi Masuda, the game's director. Eventually, I chase down the Plasma grunt that stole the skull and get it back. This might help me get ahead. Then an old man talks about Team Plasma's king, and you have a king? You're a fascist death cult and you have a king? Whatever, I'm getting out of here and heading to Manhattan. I mean Castelia City. Castelia City is a huge city map with all of 5 buildings to enter, and a lot of NPCs that offer nothing more than pointless chatter. The city's set up in a rotary on its main street with multiple side streets to walk down, but despite its size, there is very little to do here. I started off by getting a dance troupe together because naturally when you go to New York, the first thing you do is find some breakdancers and get them into a polycule before heading to the gym, where Burr rushes out saying he has business at the dock. Following him to the dock, we're introduced to Iris, who, if you watch the anime, you'll remember as Ash's companion in the Univers series that the fan base absolutely hated. Why'd they hate her, Lily? You fucking know why. You know how weebs work at this point. It turns out Bianca has had her Muna stolen by Team Plasma, and so me and Burr are going to go get Muna back while
Say it. Why do weebs hate her? Do weebs hate her because she's black? I have to turn this off tonight. Oh my god, I have to turn this off. I'm going to timestamp that when I come back next week. Show is 7:19.
Couldn't handle it, huh?
It's not even the fact of the matter of just fucking handling. That one is just out of fucking order. We're not even talking about the fucking anime. I hate chuds. I hate chuds. Weebs are tasty. I hate chuds. I don't have the mental energy for it tonight. We will reconvene on another day, and then we'll get this fun in. Oh my god. Granted, 2 more, and 1.5 down. It's not looking good. This person should never be playing any game that ever involves any kind of role-playing element, ever. She can't handle it. At most, she could play a roguelike. And even then, it had to be one of the roguelikes that don't hold your hands. So she can't complain about not understanding what's happening, because it was her choice to ignore all tutorials. Why? Why did you do this to yourself? And why did you then try to make it all our problem? God damn, if these are the opinions, no wonder no wonder he looks so good. No wonder his opinions probably look and sound better. Because this is a trash he has to fight against. He ain't got to do much. Oh my god, he ain't got to do much. Oh, fuck me. Giving Anthony G a fucking win by being incompetent to the point of literally becoming the fetus bearing meme. I don't know what the fuck to say to that. And then follow up behind, oh yeah, those chuds that play this game. Yeah, those PokeTubers who dare have opinions while being more popular than you. At some point, you gotta, I gotta reel it in. Because I'm just gonna start being annoyed and sitting there fucking stoned out of my mind in boredom. Because every single time, it's boring bullshit, slander against a group, and it's like, it's not even that I can't produce the energy. I'm gonna become very mean-spirited. Very quickly. I'm gonna become very mean-spirited very quickly and start saying things that I don't actually mean. Not that, because I can't say them and mean them, but because, you know the bit. I say the thing that I mean specifically about Lily. People will then take my words out of context to say that I mean this about everybody. Because you don't like trans people.
Iris guards Bianca. I follow her to the building the plasma was holding a bin. One of them the size of...
It's not even about trans people at this point. You're just fucking retarded. Oh my god, she's fucking retarded. We knew this. But it's worse than I thought it could be. And it still gets worse! It's an insult to people who have learning disabilities. People with learning disabilities have a reason to be this inept. This individual is this inept for money. And even in that section, there's still an additional, from this point, 25 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we will reconvene at a later date. We will reconvene at a later date. Because the racism is a step too far. The racism is a step too far. But what's new? Lily Orchard is so in love with Pokemon, she will hack the starters, she will hack the music, she will hack the script, she will hack the graphics, she will cheat consummately, she will use crutches, she will actively lie about things that are not true, and then she will attack other content creators. While doing so. That's 8 new things added to the fucking list. That's 8 new things, chat. It's all downhill. There's even more further down the hill. We're in the underground section of the parking garage of the hill. It's still more hill! The incline never stopped climbing. Never stopped climbing, chat. You can always go deeper. You can always go deeper. Oh my god.